do. And we are counting down to Sunday night live, Muddin and BEAGS. Welcome, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well this week. And Muddin's over here having his dinner. And I went to the Lowe's store today, and you know what they got? They got mini 5-gallon buckets. And I just thought it was the cutest little thing in the whole wide world. And I thought it would be great. I could hold dog biscuits in my little 5-gallon bucket. And I thought it would be great for holding dog biscuits. So I got me a little 5-gallon bucket here, mini 5-gallon bucket. I thought it was adorable. Isn't that the most adorable thing you get? It's got a little top and everything. Anyways, it's the small things that humor me. Anyways, welcome to Mudding and Beags. This is episode 14. And my weekend off turned into a weekend not off. And anyways, I spent yesterday out at the pumpkin patch, and that was a load of fun. Me and some fellas from the farm went to the pumpkin patch, and that was a neat experience. And we went into the corn maze and took the hardest route and got lost. Got literally lost in the corn maze. That was fun. And we went and bought a bunch of these pumpkins you see behind me here. I took a picture of them right before we grabbed a bunch of them to do some decorating. That was my idea. And we wanted to get some orange going for the holiday, and thought it'd be kind of fun thing to do. And we had a good time out there at Ken's corn maze and pumpkin patch there in Benson, North Carolina. And so then today I ended up having to go out to the hardware store and get a bunch of materials. So anyways, that's been my weekend. And and I edited video till 4 o'clock in the morning. So it's been a shot weekend. But anyways, we're here. We're ready to rumble. And welcome, Kathy Broughton. How are you this week? And hello, Frankie New West Reset and Sigsar. And hello, Miss Hippie. And hello, Rothrods LLC. And anyone else that's hanging out. I can't see but so much here on my little screen. I wish they would make it so you could see more of the chat at one time. I probably can't be done. But anyways, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I was just sitting here getting ready for the show, and I kind of started thinking that maybe I should kind of run down a few of my thoughts on this subject. And because a lot of people have been asking me about this, and I haven't had the time to deal with it. So I figured I'd go ahead and lay down some of my knowledge on holographic projections. And this is in relationship to the Charlie Kirk shooting. There's a theory out there that there was a holographic projection used, and this is something I've looked into. I've since discounted this theory, and I'll tell you why. I have a background in audio, video, staging, production, lighting, anything to do with staging. I've had a little dabble in. So I have a long history and I have a lot of experience in staging anything audio, video, lighting related. That was my profession for quite a while, and I did everything from installations to setting up to running shows to just anything to do with audio, video, lighting. So I just have a lot of experience with that. I have a lot of experience with CRT 3-gun projectors, Tartaria light valve projectors, big ass projectors, small ass projectors, every kind of projector in between DLP, LCD. I've been around the block when it comes to these technologies. Now let me give this to. I'm going to try to explain this to you in very simple terms so that we can discount this theory very quickly. There's a theory right now that they used a holographic projector to basically holographically project Charlie Kirk under this tent. Okay. And that sounds like a cool, interesting idea, but it's not how they did it. And I'm going to explain why. The first flaw in this theory is that a simple holographic projection uses a 45-degree screen. And what they do is they use a special projector. It's a holographic projector. And this screen, the projector projects onto a screen. It's just like a movie screen, like you would see at the movie theater or in your classroom. It's a fabric material, and it's a screen, usually drawn tight. The tighter, the better. If a screen's not tight, it will wave. So the theory would be that they used a 45-degree screen. This could be a transparent screen, a screen that had perforations in it so the sound could pass through it and the air could pass through it. The problem with this is that clearly the security team jumped across the table right through where the screen would have to be. That's first thing. The second thing is a lot of people are saying that the camera behind Charlie Kirk was a holographic projector. And that is actually false. And the reason why is that a holographic projector is actually a very large projector. I mean, imagine a projector. Let me give it a size. Let's say 1.5 feet tall by 2.5 to 3 feet wide by 3.5 to 4 feet long. Okay, it's a big, heavy, like, bare minimum 2-man lift. But you could, some of them you could get 4-man lift in there. But let's say it's a big projector. It's not a 1-man lift projector. So this little tiny device that they have behind Charlie Kirk is not big enough to be a holographic projector. And there's like, somebody say, oh, you can make a projector that small. No, you can make a projector that small, but not a holographic projector. You need a lot of light. You need a large lamp in order to produce enough light in order to do a holographic projection, number one. Number two, you're in broad daylight, which is a lot harder, okay? It's a lot harder to project an image in broad daylight than it is in a dark environment. Well, this assassination took place in broad daylight, so there's that problem. So first off, they didn't use a 45-degree screen. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the only kind of screen that there is available to use for holographic projections. There are other kinds of screens that can be used. Now, some examples of this are rain curtains, which is basically water that comes down as rain. You see this a lot in theatrical productions. Some stage shows where they have rain behind the artist up on stage. And basically what it is a tube that runs across the top of the stage, and it has perforated holes throughout, and they pump water through it, and it lets the water drip down, and then it goes into a trough. So the water falls down, hits the trough, and runs off. And so that's a holographic. You could use that and project onto. You have to have a surface. Okay, you can't project a holograph onto air. There's nothing. You have to have a surface. The light has to hit a surface. It has to stop. If the light doesn't stop, it just keeps going. It's light. Okay, so you could use a rain curtain. The problem with a rain curtain is it looks like rain. Okay. Another form of holographic screen could be a mist screen. You could create a mist that creates a screen. The problem with that is it's like smoke or fog, where it moves like a cloud, and so it distorts the image. So that's no good. You could use smoke, same problem. You could use I forget what's called. It's I forget what's called. But you could, another one you could use, you could use lasers, where the laser is going back and forth and it creates a light wall, and the projection hits that light wall. Okay, the problem with that is that, you know, you're dealing with outdoor light, daylight, and it'd have to be extremely strong, and you'd probably see the laser. Then that brings the problem of there's multiple camera angles. Okay, you have one side closed off, which is the backdrop, but that leaves three other camera angles at the very least. You have from the front, you have from the left, and you have from the right, and then you have all the angles in between. So you have a huge angle that people can not only see, but they can video. So then you create the problem of, in order uh, to make it look real, you've got the problem of a standard holograph. When you project it onto a screen, it looks one dimensional. So you're looking at it and it dead on, and it looks real. But the problem is, when you step just off kilter, just off axis of center, the holograph breaks down. It's there, but it doesn't look real because it looks like a projected image. Now they've gotten around that technology. We have technology now that actually projects it onto the screen to where, as you move around the room, let's say you've got somebody standing on stage and they're singing. As you're moving around the room, it looks like that person is looking at you. So as you move, this image looks at you. It's kind of like it's the same principle as a painting. There's very few artists, and actually a family member of mine was one of the rare artists that could do this, and actually painted some of the U.S. presidents. But there's a way of painting eyes to where they can follow you around a room. Okay, it's the same technology. So they have that technology. Then you have the problem of the different angles. You have, you know, the backdrop, but you have the rest of the ability to view. Now we do have technology that can produce 360 holographs. Now, you know, that's all fine and dandy, but then you're right back to the same problem where you need a screen. You have to have a projection surface. Then it's like, where's the projector go? Okay, you know, it's like you could do it different ways. You could do the projector in underneath the tent and project up onto a screen and then create a 3D holograph. But then the problem is, where's the projector? Okay, is it under his ass? Okay, you know, it is, you would see light coming up. Okay, then you could project it from different sources, but you would see projectors all around. Let me show you some images real quick, just so you have an idea of some of these crazy things I'm talking about. Let me see here. I think this will do it. Let me get my screen right. Okay, and this should pop up here in a second. Oh, I don't think that's, what is that showing? Hold on, y'all. I don't know why it's not showing the thing. Hold on. I don't know why. I don't know why I did that. That was weird. Let me try that again. Is that working? That's not working either. Oh, StreamYard, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. Oh, come on. This stupid thing. I'm sorry, folks. StreamYard has just gone to shit. That ain't working. I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh crap! Now it does. Now it's working. God, StreamYard, y'all got to get your shit together. That is, y'all, your service has gone to absolute hell. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, so this is a holographic projection screen. This is a 45 screen, and you can see that they put a truss system around it. They pull the screen taut, and you can see through this screen. So you could actually have like a band behind, what looks like a singer in the front. That is a 45-degree holographic projection screen. That's the technology they're saying that this is what people are talking about they used. This isn't what they used. First thing is you would see a screen, number one. Number two, when the security guard jumps across the table, jumps, down there to, help out Charlie Kirk, he would have gone right through the screen. So that's not how it happened. Next thing is this is a let me give you a different picture. Okay, this might explain it a little better. This is a 360-degree holographic projection screen. This is kind of like just a kind of how you sort of do it. And you can see it's a 360-degree screen here, and you have the projector in the center. That's kind of the basic deal of it. And here is a diagram of how this works. It's really complicated stuff, but that is kind of the basic gist of it. So that's kind of that. I don't want to go into great detail about it. Here's my point. They didn't use a holograph, okay, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to tell you what I think they did right here, right now, and I'm gonna lay this out. This is much simpler than using a holograph, and I believe it was a much simpler operation than anybody can imagine. That this is how I think that this was done, whether he is alive or whether he is dead. Okay. But I got a feeling that this was a staged operation in order to take him off the public stage, to get him into witness protection. I think he probably was pissing people off that we're getting ready to take him out, and they decided to save his life and take him out. And I think that also that the people within his organization, in a large part, are in on this, that they are in different ways, either with him or against him. But I think everybody pretty much is in on it. But basically, what I think they did, and this is very, very simple, y'all. I think they had some sort of audio, some sort of sound, whether it was a gunshot or a sound that came through the speakers, or somebody popped a firecracker or some sort of pop. Okay. I believe they made a sound. However they did that, I don't know. Don't care. It wasn't a 30-06. Okay. It doesn't take very long to figure out it wasn't a 30-06. You'd have to get up a lot earlier in the morning to make someone believe that is a 30-06 hit. Dumbing a box of bricks if you believe that. So you hear a sound. The next thing that happens is they pop a squib. Okay. You see the blood spurt out. Okay. He falls to the ground. His team go over there and do whatever they do on the ground. Okay. They pick him up, they carry him to the back, put him in the SUV, and drive off. Okay. They have somebody in the crowd that takes a video close up. Okay. He's maybe, 15 feet away. 20 feet max. He takes a video of this occurrence. It catches, the camera's trained right at Charlie Kirk. You hear the pop, you see the squib. There is no bullet hole. Okay. They immediately either upload the video or they're live streaming it somewhere. So it's already uploaded. Then you've got somebody somewhere that's already got editing software open. They've got what's called a mat of a bullet hole. Okay. And it's like imagine a bullet, the image of a bullet hole that's transparent, and they've got it loaded into the editing software. Okay. Then they upload the video into the editing software, which takes a few seconds. Okay. And they overlay the mat onto the neck for a frame or two or three. Okay. To where you hear pop, and then you see the mat. Okay. The bullet hole, and then the blood. Okay. And if you look very closely and you blow it up, you'll see that mat move across his neck. The neck doesn't move, but the actual bullet hole moves. It'll go doop, doop, doop. Okay. And so that tells me it's CGI. Okay. So you have a person that takes the video, uploads the video, or is doing it live stream. The other person somewhere takes the video, puts it in an editing software, throws a bullet hole mat over that, renders the video, which takes seconds. Okay. They take that video, they upload it to whatever, social media, all social media, whatever, real quick. It doesn't take very long. They already have their tags written in there, and they hit send, and it's on the internet within 15, 20 minutes. I could do that myself in 5 minutes. You give me a video, and I've already got the mat, and I've already got my social media set up. Within 5 minutes, I can have that video posted on the internet. So this video, we know, was posted somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes after. So what the eyes see and the mind hears, okay, what the eyes see and the ears hear, the mind believes. Okay. So you're a witness. Okay. You're there and you don't know that's coming. Okay. And you hear a pop, and then you see, Charlie jump, and you see blood spurt out, and you see him fall over, and then his security team jumps. They pick him up. They run him to the back, whisked away. You don't never see a shooter. That's all you see. Okay. You see nothing. You heard a shot. You saw blood. You didn't see a bullet hole because it happened in a second, in a split. The bullet hole was there on the video for a split second. Okay. So you didn't see that. Your mind can't even process. Hell, you didn't even know it was coming. And then all of a sudden you see blood. So this is how I think it was done. I think it was a very well coordinated, staged thing that was actually quite easy to carry out. So that's my theory on that. So we're gonna go ahead and do some mudding this week, and I hope everybody's doing well, and we'll be back in just a minute. Okie dokie, let's go mudding, y'all. And we're gonna do a little bit differently tonight. We're gonna continue with what we were looking at a few shows ago, And let me make sure you guys can see this in just a second. And is it gonna work? Is it not gonna work? I don't know. I don't think it's working. Why? I don't know what's wrong with this thing. It's just gone crazy. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Okay, that's not even the one I want to show. Oh, goodness, hold on. This thing is so aggravating. Okay. Work with me, work with me, work with me. Come on. Okay, this should do it. Okay. We're going to go back and we're going to continue with the McKim, Mead, and White photo albums. And McKee, Mead, and White was one of the preeminent New York architectural firms practicing in the turn of the 20th century. They worked in neoclassical style, heavily influenced by teachings of École des Beaux-Arts in Paris, the original Pennsylvania Station Railroad terminal, and the campus of Columbia University, among their most well-known project. 43 photographic albums, and their work reside in the Avery Classics Rare Book Department of the Avery Architectural Fine Arts Library. So we're not going to look at the Penn State pictures because that's kind of a separate thing, but we're just going to continue on. We were looking at these pictures and on another show, and we got cut off because there's so many of them. But we're going to get back into them now and continue looking at those. And get a second, and we'll get these going, I hope. And let me make sure we get our doodad in the right doodaddy place. All right, hope you all are doing well tonight. And some of these will have information, some of these won't. So if we find any information, I'll give it to you. These images aren't as high resolution. Keep that in mind. But they are amazing pictures. So that'll, make up for the resolution. But I'm sure you will enjoy as we go through these. This is an interior, obviously. And look at this wallpaper. Talk about trippy. That's expensive stuff. And this is, I wonder if this is Columbia. Hell no, this might be a bank. I was thinking Columbia University. I think this is the bank, though. Look at that light. Wow. These ceilings are incredible. And nowadays they go in and they've covered these ceilings up. Not nowadays. Actually, this stuff happened, a long time ago. But they would go in and they'd be like, oh, we can't heat and air all this stuff. So they would drop the ceiling down and they would cover all this stuff. And then you wouldn't even know it was there. This is the American Architect and Building News, 1894. And the south front of the New York State Building, World's Columbian Exhibition, Chicago, Illinois. So got some World's Fairage. I heard somebody talking the other day, making the point that, if these buildings were temporary, it doesn't make sense because these buildings are structural. Okay. So by definition, if they're structural, they're not temporary. You can't make a temporary structure that's not structural. Okay. You can't put all this together and not be structural. So that the going theory is that all these things are, plaster of Paris or some shit. It's paper mache bullshit. Okay, whatever the hell they call it. And I just think it's bullshit. I think what they did is threw a party showed this stuff off before they tore it down. They got statues in the niches there. And another interior shot. Wow, look at that ceiling. Mamma mia. Look at that. Now I need to do my ceiling like that. Yes, I do. What do you think, Bagel? That's a good idea, isn't it? It's coming October 10th is the Beagle's big 2.0 birthday. We're having a big birthday party. He likes carrot cake. He likes carrots, so he gets a carrot cake. And I went to the toy store yesterday and got some toys and brought them home. He got pissed off because he didn't get his toys because he knows when toys are in that bag. Somehow he knows. Check out these Eagles representing the Phoenix. And but anyways, got some toys for birthday, ready to go. And going to have a big birthday party. He's invited all the farm animals. Oh, and I've got word that we're getting some new animals. Not sure when. I think it's depending on me to get houses built. I'm not sure, but they're coming at some point. But we've got a South American raccoon. It's called a coati, I believe, and a albino porcupine. So got those coming. That should be interesting. That's a look at that, those Adirondines, or I guess that would be. I don't know, is that an Adirondack or what is that? That's a wild looking piece right there. Look at that white. Looks like marble kind of. Looks like a Tartarian line on there. Got some tapestries. Look at this woodwork here. Of course, this could be cast iron. Also, they did some of these in cast iron. It's hard. You really have to get in there and find out. Can't really tell from far away, and sure can't at this resolution. And here's one of those blue pictures. You might remember these if you've been around here for a while. But this is a construction site, and last time we were looking at these blue pictures were showing some weird stuff. So maybe we'll find some. This is some sort of construction site, municipal building, New York City, October 24th, I imagine 1910. So this is some underground work there. And technically, I mean, this isn't technically what I'm talking about, but this is it looks like a temporary viaduct right here. And you know how I do about the viaducts now. We got having some viaducts now. Yes, sir. Got had him viaducts. Got some grates here, it looks like, for Mudflood windows. Right there and there and there. Of course, we got to bar up the bottom windows. We're going to put windows down here, and then we're going to bar them up because that makes sense. Got a pork cutlass. And check out the staircase right here. I wonder if that's a water fountain right there for like horses or something. You got wrought iron work going across here. Got ivy up here. So that's really weird. No ivy down here, but ivy like halfway up the building. That's kind of weird. Well, I don't know about halfway. I don't even know how tall the building is. So it's up in the, it's what, 2 stories up. Kind of weird. And we got stone ball finials here. And looks like a Mudflood window here with grates on it that's been incorporated into the side here. Look what they've done here. That's pretty interesting. Some wrought iron fences, and look at this stuff, man. Very nice. Looks like we got swastikas going across. Swastikas being a very important symbol. Very important. It was very, very important. Got a flat earth asterisk right there, I believe. Hard to see, but I would say it's probably one. And this is a weird one. You got a greenhouse maybe, but look at this little feature right here going right down into the, that's kind of weird. I don't know if it's below ground, but it kind of looks like it might be. Just kind of weird. And of course, you know that the plumbing was added later, so they would do weird things with the plumbing and the electric and the gas. Everything was run outside the walls because they couldn't get into the walls. You know, so that was weird. It's like an architectural drawing. And we got got a clock up here. Clocks are expensive. Looks like 4 ones for you Mandela affected. That's a big sword. Good grief. Got more swastikas. The cable building with a V in the as the U. I think that's a sign of an old world building when you see V for U. And this might be a clock. I'm not sure. That's kind of weird looking right there. Arc light. Ghost man over here. Got a coal hole cover right here. Cobblestone brick road that's not melted. And look at the size of that door. Good 12 feet, maybe. And look at the wrought iron around it. I sure wish these were better resolution, but I think you get the point. Architectural urn, Taurus field. Look at that keystone. Very cool. Is that another one? Yeah, it's another. That looks like the same picture to me. No, I don't know. Weird. Okay. Gotcha. Wind catcher up here. Wind catcher was a way of the air would come into the building, go down through these like tubes or channels through the building, and it would move air through the building. And then there would be an output, and they could open windows and allow air into certain rooms. That's how they got fresh air back then. That's an interesting, maybe a gas light. Porthole, that would be part of the wind catcher. These would be portholes here. They would be part of the wind catcher. Got added mythology here. In case you need that. Some people need it, some people don't. Library second floor looking north, doesn't tell where it is. Look at that fireplace. What we got here? A winged lion. Interesting. And that is just that fireplace. I mean, seriously, you're gonna burn wood in that? Got the resolute disc, it looks like. Jeez. Whose house is this? Somebody got some money. This is that old world money right here. Look at those Adirondacks. And you got the metal fireback. That's an old world heater. That's old tech right there. And they didn't burn wood in it. We burned wood in it and ruined them, burned a lot of places down. Architectural drawing, Madison. I can't read it. Madison Savings Presbyterian Church, maybe. I don't know. I can't. I don't know. It's pretty though. Not gonna spend a lot of time on drawings. You know, you can draw anything. That doesn't mean it's real. Yeah, I guess this is one of those people's house, I'm assuming. I don't know. Maybe that's the menorah from the temple. No, I think that one was a little bit bigger. Look at this lamp right here. That thing's incredible. Torse fields. Look at that ceiling. My. Look at that fireplace back there. Man. Got a critter on the floor there. I don't know why people did that. Man, just take a look at that. Hey, GT, how you doing? Stupid cursive writing. Yeah. I was never my handwriting is atrocious, but they say now that that's a sign of intelligence when you have chicken scratch handwriting. I don't know that it's your how is it? I watched a video on this. They were talking about how your brain, your hands can't produce as fast as your mind can think, and so your handwriting comes out sloppy. I don't know. Smarter people than me are saying this. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'm like a lot of you, as you know, you have these characteristics about your personality or your life or something, and you want to know more about why you are the way you are and why you do things. You know, why do I work better late at night than I do early in the day? You know, why am I a night person as opposed to a day person? Look at these lights up here. I mean, seriously, is there a need for that? And look at these staircases. I mean, man, who's buying all this stuff? Seriously. And there should be some very wealthy contractors out there also. Let's just put that out there. And look at this marble work. Like, how? That's like marble within marble. Like, how do you do that? I don't even know. I'm not a marble setter person, mason dude, but I mean, I don't know. Might be portholes there. I don't know. That's wild. This is that municipal building construction site. Madison Presbyterian Church. Yeah, I think I agree with you, Kathy. I think that's kind of what was the second word? There was a second word. I think it started with S. What was that word? Because I could get the Madison Presbyterian Church, but there was another word that I didn't make out. Here, I'll go back. Is this it? Yeah. See right here. Looks like SAV? SAR? I'm not sure. Not sure. This is also the municipal building. They say this is a construction site. I mean, you know, I've seen a lot of like messy construction sites and all, but I mean, this looks like pure chaos. I mean, this is a death trap for people working. I don't know how you would not work here and not like just, I don't know, die. I really don't. I like architectural plans because even though they're drawings, because you can see things on them that you can't see, you know, normally. Like, look at the thing. I wish I could read this thing, but like here, you can definitely see there is the ground level right there. You can see how it's angled right there. These are clearly mudflood windows. They're showing mudflood windows on the architectural plans right there. Elevations, house for T. Jefferson Coolidge Jr. Esquire at Manchester, Massachusetts. So here's the thing. You could take this information and you could look up this building and then compare what's there or what was there, depending on if they burned it down or not, or demolished or whatever, and then see what it looked like. You may look at this and not see anything. You might see just that little bit right there. That looks like that's what it looks like to me, is you would see this little tiny mudflood window here, but then you can see there's structure all up under there, because this is your ground level. You could see it right here. See that right there, how it's angled? So that's clearly ground level. I mean, you can see it's not even straight on the architectural plans. They can draw a straight line. And here it's not even level here. That's interesting. And got ivy going up the side of this building. That right there is weird to me. That doesn't look right. It's not registering right. I don't know. Very odd. Look at the brickwork. It's hard to see, but that is some fancy brickwork. That's a nice building. Scrubbed cartouches. Got another interior shot. And just this cabinetry right here, like, that is, really quite nice. This is stained glass. I know it's not, well, it's not, how do I explain? This is not stained glass, but this is how you make stained glass. I knew a guy one time, his hobby was making stained glass, randomly enough. And I think it was like pewter or something that you would, melt in between the glasses. But that's what that metal is that holds it together. But that is clear, a clear glass stained glass, which is, that's a lot of work. Got some interesting Adirondines back there. It's hard to see them, but they're kind of weird looking. This paneling on this wall is really interesting. That's a nice wall. I mean, I've seen better, but I mean, that's respectable. Definitely. Here's another view of that building we saw earlier. Some kind of bank. Well, we got a hay shelter and a horse run-in. Well, it's actually for the cows. Run-in, the outer construction, the framing done, and the roof on this week, so that the cows and the alpacas have something to go under when it rains, which has been raining all weekend. So that's been nice. I got the wood today to put the skin on the sides of it. I'm putting boards on the side of it, and it's kind of complicated, but we're putting 1x6s around the outside edges. Then I'm gonna build a sliding barn door, and then on the inside we're gonna coat it with plastic, and then we're going to spray foam it, and then we're going to cover that in treated plywood. And anyways, fancy ass animals. I'll tell you what, some kind of bulletin, maybe an art gallery. It's like a dining room, maybe. Jeez. I'm sorry, but this does not look, this is all America. Okay. This does not look American to me. Call it ignorance, call it whatever you want. But this, if you showed me this picture and you said, yeah, I was on my European trip, I'm like, oh, wow, where was that? Rome? I would never have guessed. Well, now I would, but before I awakened to this stuff, I would never have guessed in a million years that this was New York, so to speak, or you know what I mean? Like, there's no way. There's no way. Absolutely no. 100% no. Like that just doesn't even make any sense. And look at the looks like they're putting heads on these walls, and it's missing some here. Reminds me of a restaurant I went in one time, and it was hundreds of heads on the wall. Oh, it's horrible. I don't know why they do that. Here's some more of that blue photography with that just strange construction, almost like they're uncovering something and then building on top of it or something. Does that look like new construction to you? To me, it looks like they're uncovering it, like they're unburying it. I mean, let me play with the image for a second. Okay. If we take this image and then take the saturation out of it, it's going to turn it black and white. Okay. And then we can see, I think, better. I don't know why they did the blue. I don't like the blue thing. See, I think that looks better. I think I can visually see that better. Maybe y'all have a different opinion. I don't know. But to me, that doesn't look like, you know, well, what did I do? I don't know what I did. All right. Hold on. That freaked out StreamYard. I think I stopped it. Okay, let me hold on a second, y'all. Stupid thing. Okay. I swear StreamYard's gone to absolute shit. If anybody knows anybody at StreamYard, just tell them that BEAGS says they've gone to absolute shit. So I'm waiting to see. Okay, that got up, and then let me set my thing right again. Because every time I go to this, I have to change my setting on where my little doodad is in the corner, which makes no sense. Okay, another architectural drawing. I'm not too big on those. Yeah, I really don't understand. It's almost like that StreamYard has made their system buggy so that you want to upgrade. I don't want to upgrade. I've been using your service for free. I want to continue to use it for free. If you didn't want me to use your service for free, don't offer it for free. That's stupid. I like free. Free's my price. I like free. I tell you what, I think if it's free, I go for it. Because I mean, you could spend a lot of money on shit you don't need or you don't going to use much. It's like these people and like once a year are like looking through their subscriptions are like, I've got a subscription of this and that and that and this. And like, it's like, come on, what do you need all these subscriptions for? How often are you using these things? So, I mean, I don't believe that I want to spend money on things like that. If there's a free way to do it, I'm gonna be a cheap bastard. Yes, I'm missing my bells and whistles. Yes, I liked playing with my little toys, but that doesn't mean that I should do that. There's just better things to spend your money on. I mean, like, I got a miniature 5-gallon bucket that holds dog biscuits. Now that is worth spending your money on. And or I threw it in the cart when we were at Lowe's and the boss paid for it. But and we got a just amazing door. I mean, I'm dumbfounded by this door here. Unbelievable. That thing's a good 12 to 15 feet tall. Hard to say. Got nothing to reference by. Incredible. Can't you imagine how they got that light there? That would have been fun. Got a Phoenician wave towards field. Little cherubs coming out of there. Vesica Pisces right there. Whew. I don't know where this is, but that is. Oh, it tells, doesn't it? D. North Doorway Church of St. Bartholomew, Madison Avenue, and 45th Street, I believe, New York, New York. Huh. Wow. All right. So it's like that. That's how they roll. That's how they roll up in New York City. All right. Oh, look at that tabletop. Man, what kind of wood is that? It could be marble. I bet that's marble. I don't know. I've seen wood like that. I don't know. I don't know. That's pretty. Either way, got Adirondines. Got the metal back plate. I think they got rid of the metal back plates a lot of them. Look at this wallpaper. Trippy. Look in the mirror back on the other side of the room. Look at the ceiling. I wonder what we got here. A Sphinx, maybe? I don't know. What is that? That's hard to tell. It's neat though. Phoenician shell, Taurus fields. This was the boom box of the day. Got a fancy looking light here, probably etheric light. Phoenician waves. Got the anchor symbol. It's like some kind of a congressional room or something. I don't know. Check out that ceiling. I don't know if you guys can see that. Sometimes I don't know if it transfers to what you can see as to what I can see, but it is what it is. Look at all that wrought iron work, and then the Mudflood drop-ins right there. You got Fred right there. Fred being the horse to build America. Oh yeah, we're all on donkey watch now. If you see a donkey, let me know. We're all looking for donkeys. Very important. Check out these windows. That's fancy. Got an unscrubbed cartouche, which we could see it. Boy, that's a white building in the middle of a not, white building area. That's wild looking. Man, I wonder how. I'd like to know how they did that. That's pretty cool. Some more construction. Look at these pieces. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, they don't look. They almost look used. I don't know. It's like they're trying to portray this stuff as being like shipped. They've shipped it in to build this thing, but you know what it looks like? It looks like pieces to a building that they've dug up, and they're building a building out of an old building. That's what it looks like to me. I could be wrong. Who knows? What do I know? I mean, look at that. They've obviously taken off the roof here. I don't know what the hell they're doing here. Got Boss Man standing up here. It's very strange stuff. I'd show it to you in black and white, but StreamYard's going to be an asshole and shut off on me. Which ain't cool. That's a wild looking roof. That's just weird looking. How do you how would how would you tell excuse me, how would you architecturally tell somebody, how would the architect tell the contractor how to build that roof? Like, look at the angles. Yeah, great. Don't run down the wrong hole here. Like it's not. You've got a curve at the bottom, and then it curves over, and then it curves back up. Like, but then it's like different curves depending on the corner. I mean, like, I don't think you could draw that. Like, you could draw it like from the side, you could draw it from the top, but how would you draw that three-dimensionally and like have the the contractor understand what you're drawing? I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I don't know. Check out that window right there. Look at that block work right there. Jeez. These are probably wind catchers up here. These weird little crosses. They're so out of place. They don't even look like they belong there. And we got some sort of this is interesting here. This is something I think to do with Phoenicians. This boat through the pillar thing. This would be something I imagine, and I'm sure I've heard him talk about it, that Martin Luther would talk about. Now whether or not he knows what that means, I don't know. But there's something, you see this thing a lot where you have the boat through the pillar. That means something. That's like, that's got a meaning. It's got a purpose. It's not just decorative. There's something to that. Laurel leaf of control, the anchor symbol. Poseidon up here making his claim. I mean, just crazy stuff here. Like, this is so above and beyond the. Look at that Taurus field. Good grief. It's so above and beyond what's necessary. It's like the White House, I think. Pretty sure. I can't believe Donald Trump hasn't come up with, wanting to tear down the White House and build a bigger, better White House. It'll be huge. I can't. I wouldn't. It wouldn't even surprise me. We're gonna restart the economy, build a new White House, and have. Oh man, a weird little door there. Look at the brickwork. Portholes. I tell you what, y'all. I had a lot of time to look into it lately, but some of the things that are coming out of the Meltology camp at this point are so retarded. I think there's like this challenge amongst themselves to come up with let's see how far we can take this thing, and let's one up each other on how much we can lie to the people. Because some of the things I've seen lately are so above and beyond stupid. It's these people, they are literally either A, retarded, or B, they are the just biggest liars. It's unbelievable. And I don't know I don't know which it is. They believe their shit so much. It's incredible. I don't know when I'll get around to. I got to make a video and show one of the things they did this past week that just absolutely blew my mind. Like how absolutely retarded it was. Like the level of stupidity that these people are going to is it's mind-boggling. And they say, "Oh, you just don't get it." No, I get it. I get it. I really, really get it. I get it a lot more than you think I get it. I get it. You people are insane. I don't know. You know, I found Meltology, the theory of Meltology interesting until I found out everybody in it is a fraud. And then now I don't even want to study Meltology at all. I just want to expose these people. They've ruined the theory. They've created such a hodgepodge menagerie of shit that they've ruined it. Really, they've really ruined it. And so until these people that are in control of this thing, and believe me, there's people that are in control of it, until they're gone, and we get some new blood, some real new blood that people that are actually going to do the research. I just don't even want to get involved in it. I don't want to. I would if they would do actual research, that they would bring reality to the table. I would jump right in there. I would do it right here with what I'm doing here. But until they do that, I just can't. I can't stoop to their level. I can't do it. I forget what I got called the other day. Because I was calling out John Levy for what he's saying in Meltology about bricks turning into balloon rocks. I got called a vile cretin. So I guess I'll be the vilest fucking cretin in the truth community, because if telling the truth makes me a vile cretin, I'm gonna be a vile ass motherfucker. I'm gonna be the vilest son of a bitch you've ever seen. If that's what that makes me, that's what I'm gonna be, because that's what I'm here to do. And if people don't like it, well, sorry. This is the brick builder. I don't know what that means. Plans house for T. Jefferson Coolidge Jr. Esquire. This is that house, the plans that had the Mudflood winters on it we were looking at earlier. So those are Mudflood winters right there and there. And there and there. And there. And there and there. So it's an overhead view of what those Mudflood winters look like. So that's pretty cool. Got an interior shot. About a 12-foot door. Don't ask how I know these things. That's just, I don't know. I do construction, so just kind of you get to where it's like you need how do I explain it? Like you need a 8-foot board. Well, it's a lot easier to know what an 8-foot board looks like, as opposed to taking out a tape measure and measuring to see if a board's 8 feet. It's a lot easier to go look at a 10-foot board and say, yep, that's a 10-footer, or a 12-footer, go, yeah, that's a 12-footer, or a 16-footer and go, yeah, that's a 16-footer. It's a lot easier to do that than it is to take out your tape. So you do it enough, you get to a point where you don't need a tape. It can even be a cut piece, and you can go, yeah, that's about a 4-foot piece, or that's a 3-foot piece, or that's a 6-foot piece. That's just, tricks of the trade. It's just part of it. I don't even know what to say about that we're looking at. I mean, what do you say about that? Like, the quality of craftsmanship there is, I suck. I suck compared to whoever built this. I mean, I'm going to admit that. I'm just going to put it right on out there. I suck compared to whoever built this. I can't do that. I'm not even going to attempt to do that. I'm just going to pass on. Just pass right on by that like it's a wreck on the highway. Just right on past it. Oh, they had a slide at the corn maze yesterday, and I got a video of it. I have to share that video. Not tonight, but I'll have to share a video, like make a short or something out of it. It's pretty funny. Me getting my big ass on this slide. It's funny. And they were picking on me. Why is everybody always picking on me? Look at that roof. I mean, come on. Look at that. Look at this lamp. I mean, like, seriously, what do we do? Drop acid and make lamps? I mean, what's going on here? We'll take some shrooms and we're gonna make some lamps. No problem. I mean, this ceiling. I mean, what in the world? Like, who comes up with this quality? Like, who sits around and thinks, I'm gonna make a ceiling that looks like that? Like, what's the catalyst for that thought? Drugs. I don't know. I really don't know. It's crazy. Bird's eye view of Coney Island. Well, that's cool. Let's see what we can see here. Is that Dreamland? Is that the one that burned down? Dreamland's the one that burned down, right? Place is so big. What an amazing place. We got Starfort. What's going on here? Let's see what this is. Ooh, okay. We're gonna write in Spanish. What's going on here? I can't even read it hardly. Nope, I can't read that. That what is that? A Starfort? That's got to be a Starfort. Like, what's going on here? How did they? What they do? Dig? How they hold the water back there? I don't know. That's really weird. That's a Starfort. I think. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's pretty wild. Oh, another one. These are wild. Don't know what it is or where it is or nothing. I can't read it. Like a Starfort on top of a Starfort. How about that? That was a neat little excursion there. They're taking the statues out of the niches here. Mudflood windows there. Architectural lights. That's an interesting top there. Almost looks like a pine cone up there representing the pineal glands. Hawthorne, I think it says. Emerson. So I'm assuming this is a library. You know, that's interesting. I don't know what's interesting about it, but why are they always right? Like, you notice that a lot of times they write these same names. Like it's like the writers, they still teach in class today in school. It's like they want you to, for some reason, read these writers. Why these writers? Are they good? Yes, but what is it about them that they were pushing these? It's propaganda. What are they pushing there? If they want you to read something, there's a reason they want you to read it. The Dome Room, 3rd floor, Institute Central Museum, to contain collections illustrating the Italian Renaissance. All right. I'm more interested in the ceiling than I am the art. I don't know. Can't see the art. That ceiling's cool though. Okay, this room is very, very, very nice for a chair and a table. It looks like they've taken the back plate off the fireplace. So you got the bricks behind it. that would originally had a metal back plate on it, which would have been part of the free energy heating system. Look at this ceiling. I mean, come on, really? That's just insanity. Like how quality that is. By the time you showed up, haha. Welcome, Jason Marshall. See Kathy Brock still hanging with us. Of course, Miss Hippie's hanging with us. And we are continuing our thing. Hello, Daniel Becker. I don't know how I missed your name there. I'm sitting there reading right now. Going half blind, I think. Coal hole cover there. Little door open into a mudflood drop in there. Diamond symbology. This building has been facaded, so it makes you wonder what's underneath that facade. And that's what facading is. It's covering over, you know. That table's cool right there. That looks like a freaking machine. That's wild looking. Looks like they've taken the back plate off this one. Check out that wallpaper. That ceiling. Jeez. What in the world? Come on. You know, I just like mentally think like when I see stuff like this and then I see the quality work I do, and now I know I do shit work. So thanks. Oh, I like that bookcase. Oh, that's pretty cool. Rounded bookcase. I need to build myself some new bookcases. I keep saying that. It's such a hassle though, because then I got to move, I don't know, 3,000 plus books out of the way, put them somewhere, and then I got to build a new bookcase out of something, which I'd have to determine what something I'd want to build it out of. Then I'd have to get that something. Then I have to build it. I mean, it's just like, okay, I'm not going to build bookcases. Never mind. Bad idea. Okay, this is, okay, hold on. Supposedly ground level is right here. Sorta. Wait a minute. No. Ground level's going up. So I think this is ground level. Look at all this below ground level right here. That's interesting. That's a weird one. Beagle snoring. He's had a hard day out there guard dogging. Another interior. Got some nice Adirondines there. Looks like it might have the back plate on that one. You always got these white marble fireplaces. Like you wouldn't burn wood in that, it would turn it black. Because sure enough, I don't care how careful you are, at some point you're going to have smoke come back in. You want that kind of ceiling on your living room? Haha. No, I don't think I'm the man for that job. No, I don't think I'm the man for that job at all. That don't even sound like something I even want to speculate on. Yeah, Dr. Seuss. Yeah. If you never read the book Yertle Turtle, that's a good book. It's about fascism. That is a cool light right there. Wow, look at all that marble. Jeez. Look at that ceiling. I mean, come on. Look at these little lights right here. That's just like, what? A clock, I can't see what's going on with it. This is odd. Some kind of memorial to somebody. Maybe Abraham Lincoln? I don't know. Why do we build crap like this? Like, who's going to go to this and go, I've got to see the Abraham Lincoln memorial with the 2 pillar thingies sticking up, you know, the Freemasonic, you know, I mean, why? Who's going to do that? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would we build that? That's a weird picture. Fancy table back there. Y'all wanted to see interior shots, so I'm definitely getting you the interior shots. And I just don't understand why they kill these animals and stick them on the floor. Just, ugh. Look at these lamps. I mean, come on. Really? And look at the shit lamps we get, stand-up lamps we get from Walmart or something. I mean, come on. Like, the quality, look at the stained glass. Jeez. What's this pillar back here? Like, what is that about? Who lives like this? I mean, seriously. Hall of Cast in the Greek and Roman quadrant of the Institute Museum. Floor area. Oh, that doesn't matter. 1898 to 1905. It was a popular way of doing lighting when they first came out with incandescent lighting. They did this like spread it out thing, fanned out look. I don't know. Very popular. Kind of weird. I don't know. Gold room. I don't think we can read that. I don't know. Reminds me of a Mandelbrot set, if you know what that is. Architectural drawing. Entrance to the library of J. Pierpont Morgan, Esquire, East 86th, or I don't know, it's hard to see, Street, New York City. Not sure about, or 36th Street. I can't really read it. 30th, I don't know. I can't read it. I don't know. Can't read it. J.P. Morgan's Junior. Was it Junior? No, Esquire. J.P. Morgan. That was a dirty bastard. He was over here representing Rothschild. The Rothschild dynasty. Yes. Haha's on fire. Was he on fire? Lord have mercy. Yeah, yeah. The feathers not dots made all this. Yeah. This might be Boston Library, maybe. Not sure. It reminds me of Boston Library. I'm thinking that might be. I'm guessing, y'all. And flat earth asterisks right there. That's pretty. I like that. I love stone, like real stonework, not that crappy, shitty concrete fake crap they're doing today. That's all they're doing today. They're just like, it is a dying art. Man, it is absolute crap what they're building now. But these, man, who knows how long these will last. It's just beautiful. Just the whew, beautiful. That roof is just really sets the tone. Oh man, that's nice. I like that. Simple, but it's really nice. And then come on, I mean, what like that's temporary? Please, come on. There's nothing temporary about that. That is structurally sound. You're not walking into that when it's paper mache. This isn't, your high school, ninth grade float for the parade for homecoming. This is a building. It's got to last. If it gets rained on and it's that plaster of Paris, that it's not so good. It's just why would you build it out of that? It's like how much time are you saving by not doing it properly as opposed to doing it properly? You still got to do it. It's still got to look this way. It's like, it's almost like, what they did was they did parts of it in this plaster Paris crappy bullshit that they're talking about. Like maybe the statues, maybe they did the statues in that crap. Maybe they changed the statues because they wanted to create a narrative. Maybe that's what they did. But these buildings, I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I just don't buy it. You can blow smoke up my ass all you want to, but I'm not gonna believe that shit. I just don't. There's some kind of map here. I don't know what this is of. It's hard to see. Might be Washington. Oh wow. Got the back plate, Adirondacks, marble, chandelier. Ooh. I bet that was pretty lit up. Tourist fields. What you up to, hound dog? Oh, big beagle yawn. I was telling about your birthday's coming up. Going to be the big 2.0. Yep. Everybody's excited to have a big birthday party. You want a big birthday party? Bud wants to invite you all to his birthday party. Gonna be the big 2.0. That's right. Big birthday party. He's gonna be halfway to elderly. Look at this light here on the stand. I mean, come on. Really? Looks like griffins right there. Tartarian griffins. Very nice. Here's that blue construction. We're experiencing a northeaster here. I can hear the wind blowing outside. It's been wild wind all day. Looks like this brickwork was added to this stonework to me. It's like one of those situations where they built onto something. Look here, they're adding framing to the brickwork. Interesting. Why are you licking the side of my drink, you weirdo? There's nothing to drink. There's nothing to lick. There's no flavor. It's a plastic bottle. You're odd. Very odd. That's okay. You fit right in here. I mean, we let Ha in. I guess we can let you here too. Oh, what do you think of that? Okay, Torsfield. Looks like kind Could be little Tartarian lions up here, maybe. Hard to tell. Oh, we got Fred over here delivering ice. He must have already delivered the bricks. Oh, here's the he brought in the bricks right here. Looks like they're tearing this streetcar line up or something. They might be repairing it. I don't know. Gaslight. There's a Mudflood winner there and there. Got a coin with a Q. Hope y'all are enjoying these images this week. We got Library J, Pier Park, Morgan, East 36th Street, New York. Got wrought iron work here. Why are you looking at my leg, you weirdo? Got no statues in the niche. Another interior shot. Nice old table. Man. Boy, you feasting at that table. Look at that feature. Man, look at that woodwork. Man, these could be, I don't know, those gas? I don't know. No, those are electric. That's weird. Look at that table back there. Jeez, wonder what kind of animal that is. Look at these lamps. Man, look at that ceiling. These look like little statues they added to this. Man. There's that same building we saw earlier. A weird construction. That's different. I don't really particularly like it. Personally. I think it's kind of not real nice. I don't know. Not my thing. Okay, we got this ground level here where these buildings are. So all this is below ground level. So I don't know what's going on there. That's 2 stories down and they're digging down, down, down. First windows. We got the L up here. There's Fred over there in the corner, tucked away, bringing in materials. There's more Freds over here. Clone of Freds. There's those underground arches. Don't know what that's about. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, we had a pretty good day yesterday. We went to the corn maze and the pumpkin patch, and the corn maze was a lot of fun. They had a farm, like a petting zoo kind of thing, I guess you would say, but it was a lot like our farm. And they had a lot of the same things we have, and they had a few things we didn't have. They had some different miniature cows that were cool, and they had sheep, which we don't have sheep because the boss says he don't want to shear sheep, which is kind of weird because he shears the alpacas. I don't really understand the logic there, but the sheep are really cute, and so that was fun. And then we went and we made a stop. We stopped. This is just interesting. He had a friend who was the dad of a childhood friend, and he lived next door, and he got a call that he was he had a fast acting cancer, and he was going to pass away very soon. They thought maybe 2 weeks, and we stopped by, and he went and visited him, and he was completely unresponsive. He didn't even know it was there, but he did go and visit, which was really nice for his family. And then he got a call this morning, and the man had died. So I guess it goes to show that don't put off tomorrow important things like that. Don't Don't say, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. When it's an important thing, sometimes it's best to go ahead and get it over with. Even though it's a hard thing, it's not something you really want to do. I think that's a life lesson there. And I'm really glad he got to go, do that, because that really, I'm sure, made him feel better. So anyways, then we went to Logan's Steakhouse. I think it was Logan. Yeah, Logan's Steakhouse. It's one of these, chain steakhouse places. And we had steak dinner, and they had a 40-minute wait. So while we were waiting, we went next door, and there was a Cabela's, which is like a Bass Pro Shop, which is a big outdoor, like, camping and hunting and fishing store. I mean, that's basically redneck heaven. So we went in there, and I loaded up with 2 big bags of clothes, because I wanted some clothes, some clothes that they you can't get real nice clothes too good out here in the country. So when I go to places like that, there's a few things that I wanted to get. So I got some clothes I needed, and I'm wearing one of my Carhartt shirts tonight. These are I like these as like a undershirt under my jacket for winter. They're thick and comfortable, and they're tough as nails. These shirts, I don't know what they make them out of, but they're tough as nails. Anyways, that was fun. So I had a good day yesterday, and then today I had to go to Lowe's and spent all day. Did get me a new toy. I got me a DeWalt 20-volt blower, which the thing was a lot more expensive than I thought it would be. But anyways, got that for. I've been using a bigger blower to hold up in the air and go and blow the leaves off the chicken coops, and it's like 8 feet up in the air, and it's like really hard for me to do. So I wanted a lighter weight blower that I could hold up above my head, and it not be so hard on me to hold up, because you're talking, I don't know, it's like 150 feet, and that's 2 times, so it's like 300 feet of gutters have got to be blown off, and you got to do it constantly because there's trees above all of them. So anyways, that's what I did today. And now I'm here with you people, you fine people. The Power of Now. Yes, I've read that book. I have that book on my shelf. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Eckhart Tolle, however you want to say it. Is that what we're talking about? I don't know. Anyways, we're looking at a fireplace with really cool Adirondines, and obviously they've modified it. This is not original. This is original. This outer, the mantelpiece. Got the eagle representing the phoenix with the laurel leaf of control around it. Look at these lamps. Very nice. Very nice. That's pretty wild. Wonder where this is. Well, I'll tell you what, that, I'm sorry, does not look like it's in America. America! Does that look like American to you? No, that looks like France or something. It don't look American. That's American. That's America. That's America right there. Yep. That explains America right there. It's like a melting pot of shit. Bum 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 bum. Coming up on holiday season. I like holiday. Oh, I got 7 pumpkins. I got 6 regular pumpkins. I got 1 little bit bigger pumpkin, even though I was asking for a pumpkin about yay big it was $90, and I got shot down. That's a $90 pumpkin. I'm like, it's $90. And I'm like, He's like, I'm not buying a $90 pumpkin. I'm like, Yeah, but wouldn't it look cool? I don't care. Yeah, I couldn't talk him into buying a $90 pumpkin, but I thought it would look so cool because it got this big delivery box. I figured it would look cool on top of the delivery box because the delivery box is like the top of it is like 4x4 feet, and it's like 4 feet up in the air. So it's like the proportionally, I was putting them on the pillars of the walls out front, and it proportionally, I thought it would look nice to have a big pumpkin on that one. I think it will look better. But anyways, I got shot down on the $90 pumpkin, so we got a bunch of like $25 pumpkins. I'm happy. It looked pretty good. And then we're riding home, and he's driving like a maniac. I got to send him to driving school. He daggone like pumpkins flying around. He broke 3 of the tops off the pumpkins, and I had to glue them, monkey glue them back on. So I told him I'm sending him to driving school because he can't drive worth shit. Drives everything, he's a demo man, so he drives everything like it's a demo. Uh-oh, you know what time that is? Sounds like we're going to have to do a patrol here. So let's see here. All right, we're going to go take a patrol, and we will be back, and we will enjoy some more. Okay, we're back, y'all. Beagle was out there, and it's like that misty rain, and it's cold, and the wind's blowing all over the place. It's just out there, and everybody pointing glasses off, and there's a little pecan tree branch fell off, and MUDDIN ran through it trying to attack it, and it got wrapped around his leash, and like he thought it was attacking him, so he kept running around in circles and like flipping around, and he was going crazy. I was laughing my ass off. I had to save him. Had to do a Beagle Rescue 911. Oh, so I was out there thinking, maybe take an opportunity. Is there any questions relating to Old World or Tartaria or Mudflood or another subject that you would like to ask a question on? If you want to put it in the chat, and I might throw my 2 cents at you. Not that it's useful or helpful or necessary or anybody gives a shit, but either way, if you'd like to ask a question, take the time and put your question in there, and we will see if there's a something we can talk about there. I see Daniel's talking about EK. Yeah, she's definitely on the I definitely don't she's definitely sus to me. There's a whole bunch of people around that crowd that I'm not thinking are good people. But we're living in a day and age where the technology that's available and the resources that we have, they're having a hard time keeping a lid on this thing. I gotta check out my little 5-gallon bucket, mini 5-gallon bucket dog biscuit holder. I love that. That's so cool. So there we go. I'm working behind the scenes to try to share the research that I'm doing with a larger platform of a larger. I'm looking for a bigger fish that I can share my EMS response during the Charlie Kirk event. I'm looking for a larger channel or a larger person, a larger voice to pass that off to, because I'm such a small, tiny voice compared to what needs to be used here. I have some several people I'm talking to, several people I'm looking at, and I have interested parties, and I'm kind of looking at who's going to do the right thing here. So I'm hoping that will be passed on to somebody. I'm not looking to I'm not even asking for credit. I want it passed on to somebody that's going to do the right thing. So I'm working behind the scenes on that, because I am just too small to make a difference. That everybody that looks at this research on my EMS research on this has been mind boggled. They see the potential of how big a story that is, and nobody's talking about it. I'm the founder of that idea. I found that, and it is my baby right now. It's even the people that have seen it haven't been able to, to put it out. But I'm working on that. Okay, let me look who's over here in your chatsies. Used to be a punk rocker, Kathy. I've listened to a lot of punk music. Why did they tear down or brick up? Hold on. I think this is helpful. Bear with me. I got to figure out how to do this. Okay, there we go. Okay. That way you can read it too. Why did they tear down or brick up a lot of older buildings? Why they brick up? I'm trying to translate what you're saying. Okay. This is another thing. And this goes for chats and comments that you leave. A lot of times, a lot of you are very clever and you'll leave comments that you think are very clever. The problem is they're too clever. And like, I don't always know what the hell you're talking about. So don't assume that I know what you're talking about. Sometimes I'm like, what the hell are they trying to say? I know they're saying something. I know there's a good question here, but I can't make heads or tails of what they're actually saying. And so it's hard to respond to a question that you don't understand correctly. Because I could go down the whole different direction, not understanding what you're saying, thinking you're saying something else. What I'm saying is, I understand you want to be clever, but also be clear in what you're saying. So where you tear down the brick building, or brick up a lot of older buildings, brick up a lot, brick up. I'm assuming maybe you're talking about how they brick in the windows. That's one thing you could be saying. Or you could be saying how talk about how they put a layer of brick or stone or facade over the brick. Okay, two different questions there. Bricking up the windows, I mean, we still do that today. I think that could be attributed to simply at one time you needed a window there, another time you needed a wall there. And so you brick it up. I mean, it's a lot easier to keep if you need a wall where there's a window, and let's say there's the window needs repair, and you're like, well, I don't really need that window. I really need a wall. Well, they can just brick it in, and then you don't lose your heating in your air, and it's not leaking. And I mean, there's a lot of good reasons to that's one neat thing about brick is it's very versatile. You can repair it. Brick is a very amazing construction technique. Now, while they facaded, I think a better question is, why did they facade over brick buildings? That's a very interesting question. It just seems like a lot of work. Like, what are you actually trying to cover up? Like, and here's the thing: if they covered it over in a facade that was not as nice, it would make sense, because then it would be like, oh, they're trying to cover up something nicer that shouldn't have been able to be built back in that time period. But if they're covering over it with something nicer or the same quality, then it's like, maybe they're just, they wanted to change it for some reason. I don't really know the answer. It's a weird idea why you would do that. I mean, then it goes back to I call it the sword in the field theory. Here goes that rabbit hole bullshit. Okay, so there's a movie called The Messenger. It's about Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc, whatever, however you want to say it. Country. So there's a movie called Joan of Arc. It's called Messenger. It's about Joan of Arc, starring Mila Jovovich. And God's played by Dustin Hoffman. And she's in the prison. And the English have her in prison. They're trying her for, I believe the English had her at this time. Might have been I can't remember the English or the Catholics. Anyways, one of the two. She's in prison. And God comes to her, and you know, he's talking to Joan, and he's you know, she's saying, "But I saw visions." He's like, "Why did you do this, Joan?" She's like, "I saw visions." What about the sword in the field? And she had this experience where she finds a sword in a field, and she takes as a sign of God, sign from God, that she should take up the sword to do God's work and go fight for the French and get back the crown of the Dauphin to from England. And so God's, you know, talking about these things about how, you know, a sword could get in the field, you know, and you have, you know, you got a guy fighting, you know, in a field with other knights, and his sword gets knocked out of his hand, or he's fighting in a field and he gets stabbed in, you know, the chest, and he falls to the ground, and his sword falls to the ground, he rots away, and then there's the sword. Or you got the guys being chased on a horse, and his sword, you know, falls off and falls on the ground, and you got and he's like, then you got the inexplicable, where the guy's riding a horse and he's just going through the field, and he just takes his sword and he throws it on the ground for no apparent reason. And then he goes, but then you chose this one, and it's like this sword coming from heaven. Oh, the sword's coming down, and you chose this one, you know. So I call it the sword and field theory, where you could, the point is, you can make up all kinds of theories as to why they facaded over these buildings, or why they did something at the time period after the reset, and none of them will be right. I don't know if that answered your question. Columbus was an anti-hero. Oak Island's getting ready to start up. Can't wait. November, I forget the date. Early November. Thinking, sorry, I got these cinnamon candies and they're so good. Y'all gonna have to just ignore me. I've gotten cussed out so many times about eating these candies on these streams. And you know what I think about that? I don't care. Thinking more of those lights. Had other lighting, radium, mercury, alchemy kinds. Not sure which lights you're talking about, but yeah, very possible. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he likes the little blue bucket. He sure does. He sure does. Yeah. I've had to truth bomb quite a few people about this 910 thing. And you know, you first start having that conversation, and they'll do the, and what's your theory? Knowing I'm a conspiracy theorist, they're like, what's your theory? You know, they get that. Oh, let's hear the crazy man talk now. Okay. And then I start truth bombing them, and I'm like rapid fire machine gun truthing. They're like, by the time you get done, they're like, they look like they're shell shocked, like, did not think about that. Didn't think of that. Didn't catch. Oh, wow. Oh. And they're trying to dodge. Like, they're, ooh. And they can't dodge. Like, psh, psh, and they get smacked around. I love it. I love it. It's like, it's like, it's like being challenged, and you're like, oh hell yeah, it's on like Donkey Kong. Oh, okay, you want to know why I think there's something other than the truth, that you know, the what they've told you on the news going on? Okay, well, I'm your man. I am the man with the plan, with the action. I can get in there, and I can get in the ring, and I can talk about this. Let me get in there and talk about this, and just blow people's minds. people rarely ask me about 9/11 because they know I will wear them out. I will rip them apart on 9/11. And don't ask me about JFK. I will end you. You will not walk away. There's several subjects that I studied so much that I know them like, you know, the back of my hand, and I'll get started, and then as I'm going, I'll remember more, and it's like an engine revving up, and I'll get going, and I'm on, and I can, like, 9/11, 24 hours. I go 24 hours talking about 9/11, and never, and just keep going, just truth bomb, truth bomb, truth bomb, truth bomb, and they're like, woohoo, and man, I'll carpet bomb mines with truth bombs. It'll just drive them nuts. Repurpose older buildings, y'all. I'm reading through your questions, y'alls. Let me read this. This is true. They used to have a lot of windows in what we call alleyways. Yeah, they did. And back then they needed the air. Now we have HVAC, so it's more of it is an enclosed system. But back then it was critical that you had those windows. So that was very important. Hide the outside to cover up the original look. Yeah, it is, but okay, and I see your point. The question is, like, why? Like okay, let's say the old world had a building, okay, and it was a nice building, and then we had a reset, and then we come in and we dig a building out from the mud, and it's a nice building still, obviously, but then we decided to facade over that building. Well, somebody, had to pay for that. Somebody had to provide the material. Somebody had to do work. Like, what's the point? Is like, where's the payoff? And I don't know the answer. I'm asking the question myself. What is the payoff of that? What let me go. Let me throw in. We'll get Streets Tartary involved in this conversation. He's probably lurking anyways. So. Hey, Caleb. So in Utah, they have this weird phenomena where they used a lot of this yellow brick, very popular on the buildings, but then they facaded over it with, he calls it Freemasonic brick. It's a red brick. Okay, so he has found in his neck of the woods over and over in his boots on the ground. He has found over and over many of these buildings, many of these buildings where they have the yellow brick with the red facade. And, he makes the same point that they're covering over, hiding what was there. But my thinking is like, what's the point? I'm not denying that they did it. They did it. It's obvious because he shows the evidence they did it. My question is, why? I mean, I can understand that a lot of times you'll see square windows and you go inside the building, it'll be a arch window. And the reason it looks square is because when they facaded over it, they did a square window as opposed to the arched window look. So when you go inside, it's still arched. But I can understand that because that's easier to build than an arched window. That I get. That makes sense. But why cover it over? Because it's not like they just covered over. They'll like put decorations into it too. So like, what is it? What are they trying to cover? Like, what could they possibly be hiding? Or is there something about the yellow brick that they didn't want people to see yellow brick? But then that doesn't make sense because a lot of times they only did the front facade. And like you can see down the side. So it's like red on the front, yellow on the back. Or sometimes, a lot of times he'll find it like where there's broken pieces and you can see right behind it. I don't know, it's just really weird. It's a good question. I don't know the answer. Oh, no. Yes, lots of old world buildings have a concrete skirt put around the base to hide the windows. That also has another feature, and if you'll notice that okay, you got a brick wall. Oh, there's my note. I know I wrote something down. Some measurements. I have a habit of that. I'll write measurements on my hand. Ignore my hand. Anyways, so you got a brick wall, okay, and then they come down at the base. It varies on the height, but then they'll come off at like a 45, or it doesn't have to be a 45, but they come off at an angle, and then they'll come out with, say, granite or sandstone or something like that. Probably a lot of times granite, and they'll do like a layer or even brick, but they'll have an angle coming off. Now, the reason is two reasons. One, they're covering up windows that are below ground level, but also it has a construction reason. The water, when it comes down the building, I'm not getting my angle right. When the water comes down the building, okay, if the water continued down and hit where the brick meets the, say, sidewalk, there's a gap between the sidewalk and the brick, and that water would go and channel down through there and go through the mortar and seep through there, and it would destroy the foundation. So what they want to do is they want the water to come down the wall, go out on the new facade, and then travel down the new facade, then land on the concrete sidewalk, and then roll off the sidewalk. It's a way of wicking the water away from the building. That's why there's two reasons they would do that: hide the mudflood windows, and also change the look of the building, and also to wick the water away so it doesn't destroy the foundations. Yes, Morgan, these old world buildings are incredibly difficult to tear down. They're you can't find them anymore, but there used to be a lot of videos where they would show demolitions of buildings. And back in the day, they used the big ball, and they would have a crane, and they would lift up the ball, and they would boom, okay? And that's how they would do demolition of buildings. And the problem is these buildings were built so well that they'd send that ball down, and the ball would just go boom, 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 boom. And they just have to continually hit it, and bam, and bam, and bam, and bam, and bam, and bam. And it would take them forever because they were so well constructed. It was many courses thick. It was the mortar was better. The bricks were better. They were just absolutely, superior to what we do today. So that's very true. They needed the red brick in the interior for the electricity. I believe that they had a way of storing energy in the red bricks. I think the better question is, like, what did they do with all this energy? Okay, I imagine they had lights. Imagine they had heat. But did they have technology like we have? I don't know. I don't know. Here's a thought that I'll just let resonate with you for a little while. Okay, imagine if we had a reset tomorrow, and all plastics disintegrated. Let's say all silicon products, all plastic products. Let's say that all those let's say all base metals. Let's say that they disintegrated back into the original element. Okay, that they just disintegrated. Let's say you have a phone, and it just, the plastic melts away and just disintegrates into whatever element that is, and then the silicon parts, and the plastic parts, and the metal parts, and the gold inside, and this whatever, it all melts down and goes just back into the ground. Okay, let's say that happened. Okay, and then 100 years from now, you know, and 50 years from now, whatever, and somebody comes along and they find this civilization, they find these buildings, and then there's no technology. That's because it all disintegrated, it all melted, so to speak. I'm just kind of putting out, what if that happened? What, you know, did they have plastic cell phones back then? I don't know. I kind of tend to believe they more had, you know, an internet of the mind, like a etheric, telepathic, clairvoyant internet of the mind. But that's, you know, some airy fairy shit. And I don't know. It's a good question though. Why did they tear down all the World's Fair buildings? They were so grand and worth saving. I can't imagine personally why any city would build such a grand fair site with such incredible fucking architecture. Just beautiful, immaculate, like creme de la creme of architecture, and then tear it down because it was temporary. Why? Why would you not take the money, build it permanent, which they did? Come on. And then utilize that fairgrounds as the city's preeminent place for fairs, events, special occasions, conventions, freaking birthday parties, balls. I mean, why would you do that to your city? Why would you spend your tax dollars to build that up, have a little, you know, soiree, and then tear it down or burn it down or whatever the hell they did? Why would you do that? That makes no sense. Oh, and then we're not even taught about it in the history books, like it never happened. I never knew about no damn World's Fair. The only World's Fair that I knew about, I'm thinking here, the only World's Fair that I knew about up until I came across Old World Research was the Knoxville World's Fair, which happened in like 1982, 83, some shit like that. And the only reason I knew about that is because I lived in Sweetwater, Tennessee. Hey, Orphan Nanny, I think I saw you there earlier. I forgot to say that to you. I lived in Sweetwater, Tennessee for a little while, and that was near Knoxville. And we would go to Knoxville from time to time, and we would go to the World's Fair site. And I actually went and skateboarded at the World's Fair site. That's the only reason I know about the World's Fair site in Knoxville. But that's the only World's Fair I even knew about. I mean, I knew there was World's Fairs, like, but I never, that's what I thought was a World's Fair. Like, it was nothing compared to what they had back then. Nothing. I mean, and oh, let's not forget now, I think this goes under the rug. Everybody talks about the World's Fairs, but we also need to add in these words. These are very important to your research in the World's Fairs. Make sure you add in exhibitions and let's see, there's another one, exhibitions, and there's another name for them, not trade shows, World's Fairs, expositions. There's another name. I just had it and I mind farted. They didn't call them all World's Fairs. The smaller ones would be called exhibitions. And there's another name, but they didn't call them that. You need to look up. Don't just look up World's Fair. Like, if you go to these even smaller cities, they had these exhibitions, and I think they were part of this. I've talked about it here before. My theory on the World's Fair is that it wasn't one World's Fair that they held here and then they held another World's Fair there and in the old world. My theory is that they built these World's Fair sites across the world at one time and exhibitions in order to do a worldwide fair that happened at one time. And so you could go to different locations for this World's Fair across the world. So you didn't have to travel across the world to go to the World's Fair. That's my theory. I don't have any proof for that. It's just my thinking. And y'all know how I do. Yep. Oh, protesting, are we, Annie? I know Annie was here a minute ago. Let's see. Reading down. Yep. And that's a good answer. Is they redid the facades because they could. It's the sword in the field. Why did they do it? Because they could. I mean, imagine you come across these buildings. Okay, you found them. You don't got to build them, and you're like, you know what? I like this building, but I'm gonna put a new facade on it, new coat of paint, and I'm gonna call it my own. I'm gonna say I built it, and it's gonna make it look like you built it because you've changed it, and you've got workers working on it and things like that. And then, 10 years down the road, nobody remembers who built that building. Nobody cares. And then, 100 years later, some jackass named BEAGS comes along and starts questioning what you've done. And does anybody care, really? Doubt it. Definitely do a Mudflood Oak Island episode one day. I've thought about that for years. GT, and I tell you the reason I haven't. It's because I'm still in my own thinking trying to figure out how Oak Island fits into the Mudflood. Reason being, it doesn't. I can't foresee why or how they would have mud flooded Oak Island, but it is covered over. But see, we don't have any. Well, there's very little ruins on Oak Island, and they're the ruins of the people that were original settlers there. There's just very little ruins of like foundations of houses and things like that. Very, very little of that. That's the reason I haven't done that show, is because I'm still trying to figure out how it fits in. Because I mean, it's safe. That thing is crazy, man. And a lot of people, they don't. If you don't spend the time on Oak Island, you're not going to understand how interesting it is. It's not going to be, watching one episode is not going to get you hooked. My suggestion is to start from the beginning. Start from the beginning of the history of Oak Island and work your way forward. Don't even watch the TV show, because the TV show it's like it's like you've got all this history that is way before the TV show, and then you get to the TV show and they're actually going in there, they're digging things, they're finding shit there that's just, they don't know what the hell's going on there. It is so crazy the shit they find there. It is something major happened on that island. I mean, major. Like, we're talking like a major cover up of something happened on that island. It is undeniable. No denying it. There's no possible way that there's not a cover up on Oak Island of some form, that they are hiding something on this island, or there was, I'm not saying it's still there. I'm just saying at some point, this island was a major hub of activity for, I believe personally, the Knights Templar. I believe they were up in there and they were rocking out on doing some crazy shit up in there. I mean, the things they find are, I highly suggest it. Anybody knows me knows that Oak Island nights, my night, y'all can just kiss my ass. I'm watching Oak Island. That's what I'm doing that night. Like I'm ready to go. I got my, I got my snacks. I'm ready to go watch me some Oak Island. I'm all over that, and that's coming up soon. There's a light bulb in Livermore, California firehouse is over 100 years old. I've heard of that, and I heard somewhere. Where was that? They were talking. It was a same kind of thing. They were talking about this old building, and they were saying that they had never changed the light bulbs in it. And see, what people don't realize, and this is something you could look into if you really want to play around with this idea, is that when they originally invented the light bulb, it wouldn't die. They invented this thing that just burned and burned and burned and burned and burned, and it was a perfect product, really. But you can't make money on that. It's like in the healthcare industry, they don't make money on you being healthy. You come in for, one problem and they give you a pill and it fixes that problem, and then it creates another problem because they got to continue. They got to keep you cycled in. But that's what the light bulb is. They can make an everlasting light bulb, or at least the light bulb will last a hell of a long time. And I mean a long time, hundreds of years. They could make that light bulb. They've made that light bulb. Here's the thing. Why did it take Edison 1,000 tries to find a light bulb that would work? It wasn't that it took him 1,000 tries to make a light bulb that worked. It took him 1,000 tries to make a light bulb that would work and die. Okay, I think that they had to find that happy medium between making the thing work long enough that people would buy them, but then it needed to die because they needed to sell more light bulbs. I don't think he had trouble making a light bulb. I mean, they had the light bulb well before he, decided to bring his happy ass on. Yeah, Snake Eyes. I used to be a big. I'd say used to be a big Nicolas Cage fan. I used to really like his movies, the older stuff that he did. And Snake Eyes was one of those movies where he was kind of in that transition period where he was kind of getting weird. But I've definitely seen Snake Eyes a few times, and that is a weird movie. That is definitely a strange, kind of a rabbit holey movie there, and to find out it's linked up with this Charlie Kirk thing. That whole Charlie Kirk thing stinks to high heaven. I'm telling y'all, it is so sus. I keep watching, and a lot of people are saying it doesn't matter. What does it matter? None of it's real. To me, it matters. To me, it matters if they killed him. If they did kill him, it matters because they killed this guy in broad daylight in front of kids, so to speak, young adults, for his political beliefs. And I'm sorry, but we live in America and we have the right to free speech. And he has the right to say what he wants. And whether I agree with him or disagree with him, I'm going to fight for his right to say that. It's like, a lot of people get pissed off when people burn flags in America. Well, you have the right in America to burn that flag. Now, I'm not going to justify whether it's right or wrong to burn a flag. What I am going to say is you have the right to burn that flag. If that's how you want to protest, you have the right to do that. And I will defend your right to do that, because this is America. That's, I can't say, I give you free speech here and not free speech there. It's free speech. And if they didn't kill him, then the question needs to be exposed as to why did they stage an assassination in front of us? What were they trying to accomplish? So that's why I'm doing the work I am on Charlie Kirk. And I think I've done good things with it. I mean, I'm sitting on this EMS story, y'all. I don't know if you watched my videos on it, but last night I went in, okay. I dropped my original video to show what I found, and that's the basic gist of it. But then I dropped a new video adding more evidence and more explanation. Last night I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning editing a version of my research that is, it's just a timeline. I've added new evidence that I found, and it's just my video and pictorial evidence of the timeline between when Charlie Kirk comes on site until about 15 to 20 minutes after. I trace from the moment that Charlie Kirk arrives on the UVU campus all the way till 15 to 20 minutes after he was shot, the location and what the EMTs were doing on property that day. I have traced them from where they were first seen all the way to where they were last seen. I have a complete timeline. I can tell you exactly where they were the entire time, and I've documented this. Now, here's why this is important. See, nobody is talking about this. Nobody. Candace ain't talking about this. Miss Little Miss, I'm doing deep research. She ain't got this. Okay. Alex Jones ain't got this. Joe Rogan ain't got this. Okay. NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, BBC. Nobody's got this. Local news. Nobody's got this. The newspapers, Wall Street Journal, whatever, New York Times. Nobody's got this story. I've got this story. Not only that, I've got the name, contact, I've got the work history, the education history, the certification history of the EMT that is involved. I've already documented it. Now, I haven't publicly shared this information, and that's where I'm looking for somebody special that can go and take this investigation further, because this is not, I cannot do that. I don't have the resources and I don't have the voice to do that investigation, but I have exposed something important here, and I fucking know it. I'm patting myself on the back, okay? I don't always get it right, but when I do, I'm gonna pat myself on the fucking back. Let's see. I want to check out some more of these comments. These is interesting. I'm confused what Daniel's saying there about the 9/11 thing. Let's see. We're talking about free energy with no insulation except the facade. Okay, let's think about that for a second. I'm assuming that you're saying that the facade would insulate the brick battery from, let's say, you being able to touch the brick wall and shocking yourself. I'm assuming here. So you facade over it and that insulates. The problem I have with that idea is that you can easily touch the side walls of the building or the back walls of the building that are brick. because they don't facade the sides or the back. Well, sometimes they do. I mean, it depends on where the building is, but a lot of times, let's assume it's not a building that's facaded all the way around, which, you know, sometimes there are. Most time there's not. So I don't know if that dog hunts too well. I don't know. Interesting thought though. Follow the yellow brick road. Yep. The original Wizard of Oz was the yellow brick road symbolized the gold monetary system, and the ruby slippers were actually silver slippers, and the silver slippers represented silver. So it was about our monetary system. Wizard of Oz was about the monetary system. It was his way of talking about that without pissing off people that probably could, you know, not allow him to talk any more on the earth, I imagine. Yeah, that's a good point. Yep. Yep. I'm sorry. That mortar is harder than granite. I'm assuming you're talking about the old world mortar. Yes, that is not the mortar we have today. The mortar we have today is very porous and not very strong. I'm assuming that's what you're saying. So this is what I'm talking about, where it gets confusing. See, like right there, Ha-Ha's just dropped some words of wisdom on me, but for me to translate that into words of understanding, it can be difficult. I'm just saying, be clear, y'all. Don't. I'd rather you be clear than clever. I know y'all are clever. Y'all some clever motherfuckers, but try to be more clear than clever. Let's see. As you answer your own question, good sir. Okay, not sure. Yeah, I think it's a little both. I think we have some awesome technology. I think they had some awesome technology too. I think we have different technology. I think they had more natural technology. I think their technology was much better for the environment. I think it was much better spiritually. I bet you it was much better health-wise. But we have some pretty incredible technology. Some of the things I've seen technologically are mind-boggling. But I also don't think that the old world had it all figured out. I think they had problems too. I think that they weren't perfect. But you know, I don't think they were trying to be perfect either. I think that they were human. And humans are fucking flawed. I know I am. I mean, Ha-Ha's not. Ha-Ha the Great is not flawed. There's no flaw. Wireless, yeah. I think that's a very she's a brick house. I saw this video yesterday on I don't know, X or whatever, and it was this lady. They said something like, capture was like, this video explains marriage perfectly, and there's two videos. The first video they're both Ring camera videos. The first video is the wife coming home, and she's opening the door with the key, and she looks in the Ring camera. She goes, I don't know who keeps leaving this outdoor light on, but they need to turn it off, you know, to save juice or whatever. And then the next video is the same woman coming home, and the light is off, and she can't see to open the door. She goes, I can't see to open the door. It's so dark out here. was really funny. Okay. Let's look at his. It's more to the point that the bricks retain heat. Okay, I tell you, as is assessed by something in my mind that knows or is indoctrinated into order of the Masonic Hall of Goats. All right. Bricks can retain heat, yes. Can be used as batteries, yes. I'm not really sure how all that technology works. I'm not an electrical person, so well, I mean, I do electrical work sometimes, but I'm not really the knower on that. All I can tell you is they didn't melt down like the meltologists tell. Like that. First off, I don't know if y'all realize this, but the meltologists have come up with this theory that, okay, I've been asking who made all the bricks. Oh, now they're coming out with, oh, the bricks it's a simulation. So the bricks were just thought and they just appeared in the simulation. That's where we're at now. Okay, let's go with that for a second. Can you prove that? I mean, any proof on that at all? Can you punch that up on a little pooter, www.provethatshit.com? I don't think so. Was this hauling goats had obelisk made themselves by a groupie? This true story. I ate this true story. I did a Hall and Oates show one time, and I ate steak dinner with Hall and Oates with a we had a road case, and we pulled up chairs, and it was like a big road case, like probably about a 4x4 square. It was probably 2 feet tall or 3 feet tall, something like that. And we pulled chairs around this road case, and we ate a steak dinner backstage. I forgot who we were watching, but there was somebody else playing it, and we sat back. We went to craft services. They had steak. Hall and Oates, and we're just sitting there. And somebody else was too. Anyways, there's 4 of us. We're sitting there eating steak dinner backstage with Hall and Oates, eating steak dinner off a road case. True story. That was kind of cool. I'm not a Hall and Oates fan, but I mean, that's a true story. Life of roadie, I guess. Good times. Civilization before ours used to live in 5D until the controllers dumbed us down to 3D. I think I'm going to disagree with that one. I'm just going to share my perspective. I think that we were in 3D, and we've been in 3D for a long time, and now we're transitioning to a 5D. There's going to be a separation. There's going to be 2 Earths. There's going to be 2 Earths. Okay. There's ignore the round. Okay, let's do it like this. There's going to be a separation. I got you there. There's going to be a separation. You're going to have Earth and New Earth. You're going to have 3D Earth and 5D Earth. Okay, and there's going to be a separation between the 4th dimension. Okay, and they're going to separate. Okay, and there's going to be 2 Earths. Okay, and because Earth is consciously ascending. Okay, it's raising its dimension. It's raising its consciousness. Earth is. Okay, and so it's like a layer on. Imagine a layer on top of a layer. Okay, and so I think we've been in 3rd dimensional reality for a long time. I don't think I guess my point is, I don't believe that they took us from 5D down to 3D. I think this is what I do think. I think that our realm, our 3rd dimensional reality is being controlled from the fifth dimension through the global elite. There's a rabbit hole for you. Oh, okay. I don't even know how to. I'm not going to tell this story, but I had this really weird experience last week, relating to the Pleiadians. If you know anything about the Pleiadians, just a really weird experience last week. I'm gonna leave that there. No, I've cut out fluoride. Oh, I don't even know how long ago. There's a lot of things I've cut out. I've cut out fluoride, aspartame, aluminum, pork. I'm almost December. I'll be a year away from pork. Smoking, drinking, drugging. What else? I don't use shampoo. I used just regular soap. I don't have, bouffant to take care of. I use soap, and I do this because I don't want these chemicals. And I know the soap's not great for you either, but I live in the middle of nowhere, and getting good soap is very difficult, and it's just not, economically, it's something I want to spend a lot of money on. I can get by without that. I filter my water. I have well water, then I filter my water, and I use crystals in my water. So, yeah, if that answered your question. Are y'all enjoying this? Because I'm enjoying this. I enjoy talking to you guys. I like it when you talk back, when you ask questions. What frustrates me, and the reason why I don't do this very often, is because a lot of times I'll ask, for questions and nobody says anything. So then I'm sitting there playing with my ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling. Won't you play with my ding-a-ling? Okay. That's funny. They did leave a little piece of San Francisco World's Fair. Yeah, that's a weird one. That's a weird one. I've looked at that several times. I've come back to that, and I've come back to that because other people have gone over it, and I'm not sure what the hell happened there. And what is weird is that you've got this old world structure, obviously, but then they tear it down and then they build it back up. And I don't know what the hell happened there. It's almost like it's almost like they built a set and tore down the set and filmed it. That's what it's registering as that would make more sense than what I've seen. That is very interesting. I've done a video on this a long time ago. I don't remember what it's called, but a lot of people don't realize that that they regraded San Francisco as well. There's a lot about San Francisco that's interesting. They've done a lot of hiding in San Francisco. I don't even know where to get started on that. That's a whole rabbit hole. I don't even have time for that. Well, yeah, I mean, the first dimension, imagine you're a dot, and that's all you got. Okay, you're a dot. I'm a dot. I'm a dot. There's nothing outside the dot. Just a little dot. I'm a little dot in the middle of nothing. Okay, you're a dot. There's nothing outside of you. There's nothing above you, nothing below you, nothing to your left, nothing to your right, nothing behind you, nothing in front of you, nothing around you. There's nothing. You're a dot. Okay, you're a dot. That's one dimension. Your second dimension, you've got, you know, hey, there's a wall there. Hey, I see a wall. There's a wall. Oh, there's another wall. Oh, wow. Oh, there's another wall. But you don't have up and down. You know, there's no up and there's no down. Like, you know, you don't. There's nothing there. You know, you just have a wall. You have a wall. You can have different walls, but it's walls. Okay, you're a dot walls. In third dimension, you know, you've got, you know, lots of different sizes, and you can see all around. You know, and you're seeing all these different shapes and different things. And fourth dimension is this weird transitional phase, which is weird. It's one thing I don't. The fourth dimension's strange because it's time space. It's like this. Why is there no like time space between the first and the second dimension and the second and the third dimension, and then you've got the fourth dimension between the third dimension and the fifth dimension, but then there's the fifth dimension and the sixth dimension. Like, what? Here's what I just had this thought, so I'm going to throw it at you. Why not? So what if? Okay, I'm gonna take my thought. I'm gonna give it to y'all somehow. Okay, so let's say you start off in the first dimension, and then you go to the second dimension, and then there's a, let's say, a time space between there. So let's say maybe time space, the fourth dimension was kind of like the second, or in between the first and the second or something, and then maybe it moved over as like as the consciousness goes up. Maybe how am I trying to explain? Maybe at one point the second dimension was a time space, and then maybe at another point third dimension was a time and space, and then maybe now fourth dimension is time and space, and then maybe later the fifth dimension will be time and space, and the third dimension will be, you know, just the third dimension. I don't know. I'm farting in the wind here. I don't know. It's interesting though. That one's above my pay grade. I don't know. Insurance monies. Can you get a quick rundown of what Oak Island is? Okay. All right. It's best to do this with visuals, but I'll try to give it to you. Story goes that there were four kids. I believe two of which were the McGinnis brothers. One of which was I believe a black kid. I'm trying to remember. Anyways, there was four kids. They saw lights on Oak Island one night, and they got in a boat and they went across to Oak Island. And when they got there, the lights were gone. But where the lights were, there was an oak tree, and at the time there was a lot of oak trees around Oak Island, hence the name Oak Island. Over the oak tree, there was a branch, and on all hanging off the branch there was a block and tackle and rope. And following the block and tackle down to the ground, there was an indention in the ground. They thought it was pirate treasure because pirates were big back in this time frame. They started digging, and every 10 feet they would find an oak platform that was covered over in blue clay. And they would take the platform and blue clay off, and they would keep digging. At 90 feet, they found what is called the 90-foot stone, and it had hieroglyphs on it. So they found 10 feet, they found a platform. 20 feet, they found a platform. 30 feet, they found a platform. 40 feet, they found a platform. 50 feet, they found a platform. 60 feet, they found a platform. 70 feet, they found a platform. 80 feet, they found a platform. 90 feet, they found a platform with a hieroglyphic stone. And the stone, the translations are different. The stone has gone missing at this point, but they did write down the inscription from memory. So that's in question, but there's lots of different translations. But basically, the gist of it is basically so many, like 10 feet below is buried treasure, something like that. It was getting dark. They went home for the night. They came back the next day, and the entire hole was full of seawater. And what happened was they had triggered what are infamously known as the booby-trapped tunnels. And they have proven that there is at least one, and they believe there's up to 3 booby-trapped tunnels. And the way they work is they go out into the bay in 3 different locations, at least one for sure that they've proven. And they have finger drains. And it's this a drain that fingers out, kind of like a it's made out of stone, flat stones. They create like a French drain, and it's like a base stone, 2 wall stones, and a cover stone, and they create fingers. I think there's 5 fingers, if I remember correctly, and then that goes to a main tunnel, and that tunnel goes at an angle down to what they call the money pit, which was the original pit that was dug by the 4 young gentlemen. Then they covered this over, the finger drains. They covered the openings to the finger drains. They covered over with coconut fibers, which the only place at the time you could get these coconut fibers were down in like the Caribbean. And so every time anybody has ever tried to dig into the money pit, they've triggered these booby trap tunnels, and it's flooded. Okay. There has been many excavations on Oak Island at this point, trying to uncover the money pit. Famous people have been there digging. Roosevelt was there digging. But a lot of people have dropped entire fortunes digging in the money pit. They have found incredible things. Incredible things. Thousands of artifacts. Thousands. Anything from ox shoes to pieces of 8 to jewels. They have tested the water, and they have found shit tons of gold and silver, precious metals in the waters. They have drained the bay and found structures underneath, log structures with Roman numerals underneath the bay. It just goes on and on. They're finding, it just goes on and on. There is so much going on that island, that little piece of property, and it's stuff that's they've proven they've proven people were there before Columbus. They've proven Knights Templar connections. They've found so many things. I think this is okay. There's several running theories as to what it is, because there's not a consensus. This is my thoughts, and this is what originally got me interested in Oak Island. I used to have a picture of this diagram on my wall somewhere. Anyways, I did Knights Templar research before I came to Oak Island, well before. And so I was well versed in Knights Templar history. And the Knights Templar history goes that they amassed the largest fortune in the history of the world. Okay, it was massive. And to give you an idea what the Knights Templar treasure, a representation of what I'm talking about. If you've ever watched the movie National Treasure with Nicolas Cage, back to Nicolas Cage again. At the end of the movie, they go to the treasure room. He lights up the little doodad, and the whole room lights up, and it's nothing but treasure. That is the Knights Templar treasure. That's what they think it is. They think they have the menorah from the temple. They think they have the Ark of the Covenant in this treasure. It's manuscripts from the Library of Alexandria. I mean, it's not just gold and silver. It's not just artifacts. It is documents. It is books. It is scrolls. It is history. Okay. Now, when the Knights Templar were rounded up, they got pre-warning, and they had 18 galleons in their fleet, and they had a massive army. These 18 galleons were loaded up with the treasure, and the treasure and the galleons were never seen again. It is my hypothesis and many others' hypothesis, and I believe this is what happened, is that the Knights Templar treasure was taken to Oak Island. They created a treasure room underground, booby-trapped it. Now, is the treasure still there? I don't know. It reminds me of the movie National Treasure, where like, okay, you found a clue. Well, that'll lead to another clue, which will lead to another clue. And they get to the treasure room, and there's nothing in it. Oh, they've already wiped it out. And then they go through the other door, and they go through the treasure room. But I mean, they could have moved it again. But that being said, historically, archaeologically, Oak Island is the most fascinating fucking archaeological find in North America going, in my opinion, right now, besides a few other things, but it is fascinating to me. Let's move on. Sorry, I'm rambling tonight. Yes, they have dumbed us down. That reminds me of a quote that let me find this quote that I saw earlier. Let's see if I don't know if I saved that or not. No, I didn't. Okay, never mind. It was I don't know what that was. Okay. Let's see here. I'm reading some questions here. Yeah, Idiocracy is a documentary. If you've never seen the movie Idiocracy, you need to see that movie. That's definitely something you should check out. Do you watch Oak Island, Morgan? You know, it's weird to me that so many people don't even know about Oak Island, and so many people are like, even when they do watch it, they don't get it. I like, and I can understand that, because I came to Oak Island through research. They didn't have Oak Island TV show when I started researching Oak Island, so I had books and documentaries and things that I looked into, and then they came out with a TV show, and that was like cherry on the ice cream. What is this here? Ever follow up on the so-called wire behind it? It's on my, honestly, 6R, it's on my to-do list. But this EMS thing is so important. I don't have an answer yet as to what I think the wire thing is. I can't, I don't know. The only thing I can do with it right now is show it. But I don't even know if showing it is going to get the point across, because I don't know how well it's going to come across on because there's a resolution reduction between what I'm seeing and what you're seeing. So I don't know if it's going to transfer. What I'm hoping is maybe there's two things. I'm hoping that I can find higher resolution video or images, and I'm looking. I'm also hoping that I can find more evidence as to what that piece is. I haven't forgotten it, I guess is my point. And I don't have the answer for it. I don't want to just throw it out there and it be like this nothing burger. Cause it's like, it's maybe it is a nothing burger, but right now it's a nothing burger with cheese. There's something there to me. And I don't know exactly what that something is. And it's not, I haven't forgot it. It's still on my plate to do. And if I can get through that, once I can pass off this EMS thing to the, somebody, that's going to handle it right, then maybe I'll take a look at that. I was going to take a look at the hologram thing, but honestly, I think I could spend a lot of time on that for no payoff of like, what's the point? It's not how they did it. It's like, I don't really want to spend time on something that I've spent time on it tonight, because I felt like so many people were asking that question or saying they think it's a hologram, that I felt like I needed to say something to explain what I felt like, what my position on that and why I felt that way. But like going into doing a whole video on the hologram thing, I think is a waste of time. I don't, unless people really keep going with that thing. I don't know. Hey, Miss Annie, I see you're back there. No, don't you even start. I got time for it. Just reading down some comments, y'alls. Valley Girl, Nicolas Cage. She has that old Nicolas Cage movies. What's that movie? Hush. I forget what movie. Who did Blue Velvet? The guy that David Lynch. I think it was David Lynch movie. And he plays a character. Was it Damon movie? He plays a character named Sailor. And his Laura Dern's his girlfriend. And man, that's a crazy movie. That was one of his best movies. I can't remember the name of that movie. I've seen that movie a bunch. That's a good movie. Just look up Wild at Heart. That's it. Wild at Heart. If you want a dark, crazy ass movie starring Nicolas Cage, Wild at Heart. That's some crazy shit right there. I ain't got time for it. Hush. No. Yes, I agree. When he had to pay the government tax for the crazy things he would buy, he went and did a whole bunch of movies. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's when he got weird. I think, and I think that's a very I think that's a very human thing. You base your life on building up this empire of wealth, and then you get in financial trouble, and then you compromise your work. Um, yeah, hush, I ain't got time for it. Yeah, old Nick Cage movie. I just liked Nick Cage back then. He just, I don't know, he got weird, and but I mean it's a lot of things are like that, I guess. Anything you're watching. Um da, 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 da. um I'm assuming, Daniel, that at the first of this live stream, I went into deep discussion about the hologram theory. So I'm not going to repeat that, but my answer is no, I do not believe the hologram theory. I did do the research into the hologram theory, though. Originally, when it first happened, I looked at that very quickly and quickly discounted it. So, were they acting weird? Okay, there's two things. Number one, they walked up behind Charlie Kirk's SUV as the security team is putting him into the SUV, and it looks like they're just standing there. Now, we don't have clear enough video that shows that they're saying, "Hey, we can help," or "Hey, we're EMS," or anything like that, and we don't have any video or any evidence showing that the security team said, "No, we don't need your help," or "Fuck off," or anything like that. So it's weird that they walked up right behind the SUV and did nothing. That doesn't mean they didn't do anything. It just means we don't have any evidence that they did anything. What we have evidence of is they walked up behind the SUV and did nothing, like physically. We cannot tell if they, at this point, if they said anything or anything was said to them. That is where the question lies. The second thing that's interesting is that right after, and you'll see this on my timeline video, right after this happened, right after they drove off with Charlie Kirk in the SUV, the EMS, there's two EMSs there. I'll call them EMS 1 and EMS 2. EMS 1, I think, is the one that's important. I think EMS 2 is not as a critical person as EMS 1. And I do not have the contact information for EMS 2. I do not know who he is yet. But EMS 1 and 2 then walk forward from backstage, and they were almost to where the tent is. They were about 10 feet back, and they were standing there as they brought George Zinn backstage to take him to detain him backstage. And they're seen backstage watching George Zinn walk by. Then, right after that, at the 3-minute 30-second mark after the shot, and the timeline will show how I came to that conclusion of the 3-minute 30-second mark. I think it's 3 minutes 20 seconds to 3 minutes 40 seconds, because you see you see EMT 2 and then EMT 1. But when EMT 1 comes running up from backstage, he's got these medical bags on, but he looks right at the camera as he's running by it. And that dude has seen some shit. And he was the one that was closest to Charlie Kirk being put into the SUV. He saw more. They walked Charlie Kirk right past him. He followed behind him. He was standing there right at the SUV when they put Charlie Kirk in the SUV. He saw something, and you can see it in that gentleman's eyes. No question. Were they acting weird? I don't think they were. I think this is my going theory right now is I don't think the EMS were involved. The EMTs, I don't believe that they were in the wrong. I believe that they were told to stand down. When they went to help, they were told to stand down. And I don't know why they were told that, but I don't think they did wrong. Although you could, and I've looked into this, and you could, if you read the Utah emergency medical oath, it clearly states that you should not delegate to someone with lesser credentials as you. Like, basically, you shouldn't delegate a gunshot wound to a security guard because you are an EMS, emergency medical technician, with a medical bag, and they are a security guard with a gun. Maybe they've had, military training. Maybe they've had medic training, but you have, an in-ear piece and a gun, and the EMT has a medical bag. They have a medical jump bag. Now, I think when I got a gunshot wound to the neck, I think I want the guy with the medical bag, because he's got, I don't know, stuff like, gauze to stuff the wound. He's got stuff like breathing bags, maybe to help with CPR and things like that. He might have some medical drugs that might help with pain. He might have special training as to keeping people alive on the way to the hospital. I don't know. It's just me. I just prefer to have the EMS guy as opposed to the jackboot thug when I got a hole in my neck. That's just me. Who the fuck am I? I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a simple country beagle. Da, 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 da. Yeah, wait a minute. Go back here. Yeah. I think I call people like this a filter. I think that her job is to sidetrack things, to send you, like, go down that little that rabbit hole. Go that way. Oh, that was dead end. Oh, we'll look over here. But I don't know. There's something not. I haven't spent a whole lot of time on her. I don't feel that she's. I'm not saying she's not uncovering stuff. It's just like the stuff she's uncovering. It's like, I'm sitting over here with my little bag of tricks. I got EMS, okay, and she's over here with, Dairy Queen photos of Tyler Robinson, who's obviously a patsy. Just saying. Yeah. Is it too expensive to make the old world mortar today? I don't know the name of the video, but you should go watch Conspiracy R Us's video on the mortar. If anybody knows the name of that video, he did an excellent job on covering that subject. He knows a lot more about that than I do. And shout out Conspiracy RS. Definitely one of my favorite channels. I watch everything he puts out, and that's a rarity for me. I don't watch most things. I'm more targeted. I want to know something about something. I go looking for videos on that something. It's very rare for me to watch one creator everything they do, and he's one of those few that I do that with. So shout out Conspiracy RS. Yes, definitely agree with that. I don't get involved with politics either. I don't look at this Charlie Kirk thing as a political issue. I know it is a political issue, but I don't look at it from a political issue. I give shit about the political issue. Democrat, Republican, fuck them both. Okay, they're both swine. Okay, the Democrats are the Looney Tunes. Okay, the Republicans are the people that are just kind of sort of waking up and realize some shit's fucked up, but they don't know shit. Okay, but they're both bullshit. They're both controlled. Okay, I don't do any of that. I don't do independent. I don't do none of it. I don't do politics. Okay. I don't do it. I'm not looking at Charlie Kirk from a political standpoint. Okay. That's not what my interest in. My interest in is the freedom of speech that this platform of being able to have an open dialogue. You know, how many times have I challenged people to a debate and they won't debate, but Charlie Kirk could get up there and debate these people, and that is what we need. We need open debate. We need open dialogue. We need more of that. The problem is that there are very few people that have the ability to have a debate like Charlie Kirk has. See, most of the time, I don't know if you realize this, but if you watch if you look into debate, okay, there is like a structure to debate. Anytime you see a debate where it's like, this person is asked a question and that person, and they have like a set topics and it's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. Any structured like debate, like political debate or college debate, any like high school debate, any debate that is structured like that, where you have two people standing up on the stage side by side, and the commentator asks a question, give your go. You've got 2 minutes to give your opinion. They give your opinion, and then they give their opinion, and they give okay, and then it that's all bullshit. It's all crap. It's all controlled. There's no truth in that. Okay, the way it's done. Hush. I don't have time for it. You're just being naughty. So, but what I liked about Charlie was that he would sit there and you could come up to that mic and you could ask him any stupid fucking question you wanted to, and he was put on the spot as to how he would answer. And sometimes he had spot on answers that obviously he said the same thing 1,000 times. Other times he got tripped up. Sometimes, you know, they would get him. Sometimes they would change his mind. Sometimes he'd change their mind. That is the kind of form. Now, there's another thing that's really interesting to me, and this is me going back in my knowledge of audio video. The structure, the physical audio structure, the technological structure of his setup for these debates it was terrible. The way it's designed, where you have him with a microphone and you got speakers going out to the crowd, but then you have people coming up with a microphone that's, you know, up front, to where a lot of times you would get feedback from the speakers from the microphone facing a completely different direction. Very, 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 very hard to control that audio setup. Very hard. Not a good way to do that. That is what they were doing there was and it was okay when they were doing the small events where there wasn't a huge crowd, but this thing that they had gotten to where they did it at UVU was next level. Like, from an audio production standpoint, from my professional opinion, was their setup was not going to work. And if you really listen to the first speaker of that, you need to calm down. If you listen to the first speaker of that event, there was only two, but the first speaker of that event, you'll hear all the audio problems, all the feedback problems, all the problems hearing. The people in the crowd said they were having trouble hearing. Terrible setup. It was the first time they'd done that event, first time they'd done that setup, and I can tell you from an audio engineering standpoint, they fucked up. They knew they fucked up. Now, I don't know if they planned it that way, but from my professional opinion, from audio engineering standpoint, that setup was never going to work. They would have redone that setup if they ever did that again, guaranteed, because that didn't work. It did not function the way they wanted it to function. And and part of the problem, this is probably where they really screwed up when it comes to audio. The way that amphitheater is designed, where it steps up and you got these concrete. The problem is that you set the audio up, okay, and you get it right and it works, but then you add people, and when you add people, it creates diffusion, and then your audio gets all your settings go to shit. Okay, so everything you set up for then goes to just absolute hell. Okay, none of it works. So then you have to scramble, which is what you see during the first speaker. You see them scrambling, trying to figure out how to make it work. I've been there. I've done that. Yeah. I don't know where I was come from there. Da 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 da. Yeah. There's a separation now, flat Earth versus globe Earth. Epi is closer to real truth than our real history. Yeah, the Earth is not a globe, okay? It's also not flat. I mean, it's flat, but it's not flat. Okay, it's not, and I don't mean it's just not flat. I mean, it's a simulation, okay? It's a simulation. The simulation is structured like a flat Earth. So what you see as a flat Earth is actually a simulation of a flat Earth. So it's not a globe. It's not actually a flat Earth. It's a simulation of a flat Earth. That's my thinking. I've heard a lot of people say that. Mane and tail shampoo. I've heard a lot of people say that. I don't know why that is. Is not. Oh. Ba, 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 ba. Let me read this. What you got going, Morgan? Many things I do not see the connections, but I see that they have associations, and the bricks to retain sunlight in order to regulate heat is a total guess. Made more sense than just drawn from power from. Yeah, a building will heat up during the day, and then that energy could resonate into the building. So yeah, there's a it's kind of like what are they called? There's a certain kind of what is it? There's a certain kind of block that you can use that they use them where it heats up the block, and the block then radiates the heat back out. It heats the block up. The block stores the heat, and then the block radiates back out the heat over time, so you get longer use of your heat. That was an old world technology. This dog is going nuts. I don't know what his problem is. A big old nut. A big old crazy dog. A big old nut. You better quit. I'll knock you out. I'm just right to kiss her. Pow to kiss her. Pow. Pow. Come on. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Karate move. Matrix move. Pow. Judo. Pow. You don't even want none of this, son. Time for it. You better calm down. You going crazy. We're trying to answer some questions here. Bop-a-dum-ba-dum. I'm just reading down, see if we find anything interesting here, y'all. Better quit whatever you're doing back there. I don't know what you're doing. Bones of giants. Well, I mean, I think what happened with the bones of giants, I think that the Smithsonian rounded them up, at least here in America. I think there's clear evidence of that. I think there were bones of giants, and I think they clearly got rid of them. I don't know what they did with them. I mean, there might be some massive warehouse we don't know about, that has giant bones in them somewhere. I don't know. I think the dinosaur bones that they say are dinosaur bones, I think that those are actually dragon bones. That they created these dinosaur myths to sell oil, basically. Bum 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 bum. Just reading down for you. Bum bum bum. Bum bum. GT, you watch Oak Island? That's cool. I wish more people would get into it. It's in Nova Scotia, Daniel. Oak Island is off the coast of Nova Scotia. If that helps. Yes, David Lynch directed Blue Velvet as well. That's another weird freaking movie. That's old movie. David Lynch, that dude's a weird dude. He's connected to some weird elite shit. There's a lot of symbolism in his movies. He knows a lot of things he shouldn't know. Yeah, David Lynch, that's a weird dude. Yeah, Raising Arizona, that was a good one. He did so many good ones. Guarding Tess, I loved him in Guarding Tess. I really loved the movie National Treasure. Didn't like the other ones. I think they were just riding the coat heels. It was they weren't very good. That first one I really liked. It really took you on an adventure. I like the first one. Yep. A lot of people talk about moonlighting. I've seen it. It just didn't resonate with me very, very much. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Don't ever watch that vampire movie he did. I forget what it was called. He did a vampire movie. It was like one of his first movies. Horrible, terrible, awful. Don't ever watch that movie. So bad. Yeah, Shirley MacLaine died yesterday. Didn't she? I think she did. I think I saw that. Yeah. I do believe. I do. I don't know. I mean, it's clear to me that the FBI is in on it. I mean, they're clearly in on it. Now, how are they in on it is the question. And yeah, I think Trump and J.D. Vance and Tucker. I don't know about Tucker, but that possibly. But the government is in on it in some way, shape, or form. I got a feeling. This is just my feeling, is that they found out he was going to be taken out by a certain group, and they put him into witness protection. That they came up with this idea of getting him, kill him off, and it was like, we got to kill you to save you. That's kind of my thing. But I think the people that are, I think he had people in his organization that were not so good. I don't know. I think everybody's sus on this one. I don't think he's dead though. That I just don't see any evidence that he was dead. I mean, it's the 30-06 thing. We know he didn't get hit with a 30-06, so that means they faked that. So if they faked that, it tells me, right from the get-go that it's bullshit. And that kid, Tyler Robinson, he didn't do shit. I think he might have been told to do something like, you know, go and stash this synthetic plastic stock gun in the woods. Go jump off this building. Go to Dairy Queen. I don't know, but you know, he was clearly involved somehow, but not how. He didn't shoot shit. That boy didn't shoot shit. I'm sorry, he didn't do it. You know, he's Oswald. See, Oswald was CIA, and you know, it didn't take Oswald too long to figure out that he'd been set up. He was told when and where to be at that building on that day. He knew that that president was coming through. He probably knew they were going to kill him, or probably knew there was an operation that they were going to do a staging. I mean, that's debatable, but Oswald was in on it. Okay. But at some point, Oswald realized, oh shit, they're setting me up. And he ran. But Oswald, he I can tell you exactly where Oswald was and what he was doing at the time Kennedy was shot. And he wasn't on the 6th floor, I can tell you that. He was on the 2nd floor, buying a Coke. That's confirmed. That's in the Warren report. If you just read, you just do a little reading. It's right there in the Warren report. All the testimony that's needed to prove that Lee Harvey Oswald was in the break room buying a Coke and drinking a Coke on his break at the time Kennedy was shot is all in the Warren report. It's all there. He couldn't have done what they said he did. It's impossible. But that's okay. I mean, that's how these people run. I mean, you know, live by the sword, die by the sword. You know, play with the CIA, die by the CIA. I mean, we all know they're crooked. They're crooked. Come on, how many? But they can't operate domestically. Okay, don't believe that. We shit. This purple smells like bean sherbet. Okay. Okay. Let's see. They did right away, and now BEAGS, which is their command, and done. BEAGS, go check out the staging area. They did just what you said. What did I say? You talking about where they covered it up? Maybe. I'm not sure. Of course he needs a patrol time. He's got a woman like a 3-year-old girl. That dog, he's gone back to bed now. He wants attention and he can't get that, and he acts like he's got to go to the bathroom, which he just went out, and now he's gone back to bed. I know that dog. Yours are snoring. Leonard Skinner. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen Leonard Skinner in concert. And I tell you what, when you're working their concert, I love Leonard Skinner. Don't get me wrong. That's the redneck, you know, anthem, Freebird. But when you're working their show and you're ready for the concert to be over, so you can strike the show and load out, and they're going on and on with damn Freebird, on and on and on and on. It's like it's never going to end. You just want them to just you just want to unplug them or shut the power off on them, because they would play that song 20 minutes. I mean, like, it's like, dude, okay. And after seeing that show me so many times, you're like, yeah, this is yeah, let's go home. You've given the people something. Let's go on. Yeah, they want to give you the idea of fossil fuels being millions of years old. Yeah, it's all bullshit. There's plenty of oil. That it's a Rockefeller thing. Rockefeller came up with all that bullshit. And I highly suggest, if you want to know about why we have the medical system that we have, there's the videos on my channel. You can search the Flexner Report, Stuffed Beagle, or you can just search the Flexner Report. I did my little version, my little take on it, but it look into the Flexner Report. There's a great video. Just type Flexner Report. National Treasure was awesome. I thought it was going to be done when I first heard about it. That was dumb. Yeah, that's what I thought she said. Yeah, I that movie was really. I thought it was really well done. I just like a good adventure. I'm 80. You know, I'm Gen X. You know, we grew up on adventure movies. So that was like, Indiana Jones. I mean, come on, that was Indiana Jones stuff. And I liked that kind of stuff. Goonies. I like good treasure hunt. I like good, mystery and I love history. And that movie just really checked off a lot of boxes. And I liked Nicolas Cage. That was just really cool. That was a really neat movie. I loved how they did that. But the rest of the movies, they I don't know. It just seemed made up. Like there was no the original movie had this like it could be true kind of thing to it, which I think what it was they had so much truth in there that it did have a ringing of truth. But the other movies they didn't hit. Personally, that's what I think. But I mean, gosh, how can you? Yeah, that's possible. That's a possibility. Yeah, very possible. Let's see, 27 minutes. You recorded off classic much music rewinds. Oh, talking about Freebird. It might be 27. That I never timed it, but man, it was so long. It was like in the song, please. Please. Anyone. It's like need to end this stream because it's getting too long. We'll see you next week. Love, Beags.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma. Don't you get it?
Say woof again! Say woof again!
I've got one that can see.
Welcome to the underground.
This is my kung fu, and it is strong.
See you later.